evening, y'all. Here we are, another Thursday. How's everybody doing tonight? You know, if you didn't know earlier on, I took you guys for a ride in the truck on my way home from work. Did you check that out, that stream earlier today? I even went to Chick-fil-A and I ate some chicken and some fries for you guys because I know how you like that ASMR stuff. People chewing loudly. We talked about all kinds of interesting stuff. Hey, Kimba, good to see you. Let's hit the chat and see who we got in here. Adrian? Yo, Adrian. There's like a billion of them. Good to see you. Nick's in the house. Shaun Spins. Don't worry, I got him tucked away right back here in the pantry. He's going to be out in 1 minute. I got him nicely balled up. I got a lot of rubber bands around his feet and arms, and he'll be okay. We're going to trim him loose here in a minute. Mick's in the house. Good to see you, Mick. Hope you're doing all right, buddy. Miss U's in the house, the single greatest hype chick in all of the vinyl community. She's here tonight with us. Good to see you. I'm looking out my window. I see you out there right now. She's got her favorite ladder. The only chick I've ever met that's actually into ladders. People do their driving videos, and she says, hey, look at all these ladders on this truck. Man, they're really cool. Good to see you, Nick. Kimba, you want to be the pink robot, Kimba? You can be the pink robot. Good to see you, Kimba. Hope everything's going well for you on this Thursday evening. And I appreciate you coming with me on the drive earlier on. Nate, what's up, Nate? That's for you. This is trademark, by the way. If you didn't check out Shaun Spins over at the Shaun Spins channel, his last video was fucking great. And yours truly was one of the 58 sponsors on the show. Randy, good to see you, brother. My man Randy is going to be on Hydra 19 this coming Saturday, 9 p.m. John's going to be away watching a show, and we have a special guest, Mikey Bananas, once again is going to be with us on Saturday, so don't miss that show. You don't want to miss that. 19 is going to be fucking stellar, so do yourself a favor, don't miss it. Somebody else is streaming, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is where you want to be. Don't worry about the other one. Don't worry about the other one. Who else we got? Okay. I think we're hey, Eddie's in the house. What's up, Eddie? Eddie stopped by today, too. You know, a lot of you guys like these driving videos, you know what I mean? You like to see a guy driving 80, 85, 90 miles an hour going down the highway. A lot of nice foliage during the fall. But, yeah, so without further ado, I do have a special guest for the first time, literally physically in the pantry with me right now. He's here in the vault, the vast vaults of the Bizarro Vault, vast, cavernous, never-ending vinyl shelves and crates and bins and baskets and bags full of 45s. And my man, he come all the way from Philly town to come see me today and hang out and play some really cool music for you guys. Without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest up right now. We got with us Shaun Spins. Now, don't worry. If we're going to try this echo, if the echo's too bad, I'm going to pass him the mic. But we're going to try this out right now and see how it goes. So there he is.
How does it sound?
Well, first off, I like the look. Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, it'd be better if I turned the mic on and I just said what I said again, which was we got a lot of echo because he's really close. Look at I like how I'm here and yet I'm over there. Like, yeah, this is like we just broke like a fourth wall. This is really strange. I'm going to pass the mic off to Shaun, and he's going to say hi to you guys. So grab yourself a cold snack and watch it.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Pretty excited to be here. It's exciting to share music like this. I was telling Aaron before the show that we used to do this a lot in college. We would sit around and play music for each other. So it feels very similar, just 20-something years later. So I hope everyone enjoys.
A man a few words, but he gets the point right across. Yeah. So, hey, Caitlin, how you doing? How you feeling, Caitlin? Hope you're feeling okay. And Malia's in the house. If you didn't know Malia earlier today when we were doing the stream when I was driving, she wished that I got in an accident and hurt myself. So that's for you. That's just for you. I'm just kidding. I know you're fucking around. It's okay. Don't get upset. It's all right. I'm just fucking around. We've got some really cool vibes kind of set up tonight for you guys. We've got a multi-vibe situation going on. I know you were kidding, Malia. I'm just kidding with you, too. It's okay. Just fucking around. I know the face doesn't change, but inside I'm laughing. I'm yucking it up right now, so it's all good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's fun. It's interesting that it's really fucking weird that you can see both sides of me. I don't know how I feel about that, actually. I didn't think... Can you just... I don't like... Okay. It is what it is. Profile... Now you get to see... Two sides of Bizarro tonight. No, don't do that. Sit in front of your camera. Block me if you can. Yeah, actually, they are. These are like the earliest representations of velvet paintings, Randy. These are actually. This is early '60s, so this isn't that kind of mid '70s van in the gas station parking lot, Velvet Elvis kind of things. These are like 1961 and 1962 versions. So I'd say they're the highest quality velvet paintings that you can get. Just so you know. Let me read a couple comments here real quick. So hold on one second. Scotty, what's happening, Scotty? Scotty Stricknine's in the house. Good to see you, brother. John's in the house. Boom. That's for you, homie. I hope you have a great show on Saturday, and don't worry at all about Hydra. We've got somebody lined up to take your spot. Big shoes to fill John's shoes in, but I think Mikey's going to do an okay job. So it's good to see you guys. Definitely. Darren, what's happening, homie? Yeah, so we got a multi-vibe situation set up for you tonight. We got some punk, some hardcore, some blues rock, some 80s metal, and just all kinds of great stuff set up for you tonight. And this is what we really like about what we're. This is what we like about what we're doing here is please. He's enjoying fucking with me. Yeah, so we got a lot of vibes going on here tonight. So I'm going to kick this sucker off. I got a lot of early 70s blues rock for you. Let me go ahead and show you. Just sit back. Hey, first off, I hope everybody's having a good week. I hope you got yourself a cold snack. And I hope you sit back and relax and have a good time tonight. If you ain't got a cold snack, if you're not a cold snack person, get your bowl packed up. Do yourself a little puff and whatever you got going on. You like eating cheese puffs, you beef jerky guy, you like Swedish meatballs, whatever your vice is. Right now, tonight is the time to go ahead and entice it. Go ahead and feed that vice. I'm going to show you what I got going on here tonight. We got a lot of good stuff lined up for you. So my first set is comprised of all early 70s blues rock. I'm going to be playing you some stuff from Leslie West Mountain. Not Mountain so much, but Leslie West Mountain. So I got some Mountain set up for you. Then we're going to move over to the UK, and I just picked this up recently over in Philly. Another trip I made with my man Shaun over Long in the Tooth over there in Philly town. This is Blodwyn Pig's. This is another album by Blodwyn Pig. And we're playing you some of that. So we got some UK blues rock. And we got some good old manic as hell. Some of the most manic guitar slinging you're ever going to hear. We got some Johnny Winter, more American blues rock. Then we're moving over. And now we got some Irish blues rock. So, you know, we're conquering all these continents tonight. We got some Rory Gallagher tonight, some Colin Card. And then here we are back to the UK again. We're going to be playing you some Savoy Brown. So that consists of about 60% of what I got in my first vibe, and then I got another 40% coming up. So I'll show you that stuff later on. But Shaun, you wanna say anything else while I get set up?
I'm going to be playing music tonight. Thank you.
Again, a man of few words. I appreciate that in people. The dude ain't got a lot to say. It's all action with this guy. Trust me. This guy is hardcore. What's up, Eric? Good to see you, brother. Hope everything's going well. Paul's in the house. Good to see you. So I've got 5 LPs stacked up on my turntable. I got 5 LPs stacked up on this motherfucker. I don't have a stackable spindle. I just got them all like laying on top of each other, all willy-nilly. So it'll probably sound terrible. I'm just kidding. They're all up there and they're safe and sound. Trust me. So we're gonna start off with some Mountain. I'm going to play some killer stuff. And then Shaun is going to take over the mic, and I'm going to sit back and relax. And he's going to talk to you and tell you what he's got lined up. But until then, it's great to have you, Shaun.
Thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited, and I'm looking forward to what everyone thinks of the sounds.
There it is. There it is, man. A few words. Right to the point. That's these Philadelphia people. They're right to the point. It's no, hey, what's going on? How you been? It's like, how you doing? Fine, see ya. Yeah. So, that's right. Kimba knows that I like my milkshakes with whipped cream and a cherry on top. Just a little. Send them on over to the lair. Good. Oh, by the way, real quick, before I get started, hey, Nick. Nick, you still in the house, Nick? Hey, homie. I talked to my man, Nick Pantazzi, a couple weeks ago. We had a nice long conversation, hung out for a while, and I picked up a few LPs from him, and he shot them right over to me, and I'm glad to have them. So, hey, Nick, I got these in the mail. These are some really super clean. I got Zappa live in New York. I'm really happy to have this. I also picked up, he threw in, well, he didn't throw it in. I paid about $95 for this, honestly. I'm just kidding. He sent me a Strap It On helmet because he was really upset when I told him, oh, I only have Meantime. He's almost like, what? You consider yourself a helmet fan? You got one helmet LP? And I picked up Chic Your Booty. So glad to have these in the collection. Nick, you did a good job packing everything up. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Excellent LPs. And I appreciate you, brother. Thanks a lot. So, let's get this sucker started. We're going to start with some Mountain. And I'll be jumping back and forth. Got a mustache hair on my lip. And I had a mustache caught in my mouth. I had to yeah. Oh, Russ. I think that's a buddy of Shaun's. We got some cross-pollination going. He says, I'm new to the channel, found Mr. Bizarre via Shaun Spins channel. It's the shit. I'll tell you why, because if you don't know, I think I already mentioned this, but Shaun Spins' last video, if you don't know Shaun Spins, go to his fucking channel and sub this guy up. He spends so much time editing these videos. I don't even know how he begins to do it. I wouldn't have any time or inclination or even an understanding remotely how to do the kind of stuff he does. But he threw me up there as one of his many sponsors, and I really appreciate that. So it's good to see you, man. Because you come from over there, I'm gonna toss you a wrench right now, Russ. I hope you enjoy the show. So let's get the sucker started. Enough yakking, as it were. You know, I'm a Libra, man. I can talk all fucking day and all night long. I just talk and talk and talk, and then
the damn record.
There we go.
Lord, I'm going on downtown.
Got a little mountain. I'm going to be busy here flipping back and forth. So since we got some long sets here, I'm just going to keep rolling. So that was Leslie West Mountain. And let's see what we got next, laying underneath this vinyl. Because like I said, I do actually have 5 records stacked on top of each other right now. Shh. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, Bill, that was Blodwin Pig. That's for those of you that don't know Blodwin Pig. That's Mick Abraham of Jethro Tull fame. That's what he went and did after he left Jethro Tull. And I played some other shit by Blodwin Pig. I played A Head Rings Out, which is really good. That's got the pig on it with the pierced nose. And yeah, so there it is. Let's move on. Yeah, man. Some of the most manic blues guitar you're ever going to hear. Johnny Winter was just fucking insane, man. He was just one of my favorite guitar players of all time. greatest slide, I think, of all time. Just epic, man. Let's move on. Hope you all are having a good time. Are you having a good time? Are you enjoying yourself tonight?
I'm having a good time.
Okay. That makes two of us. I'm having a good time. Are you having a good time? Talking to you. Let's move on.
See me smile when I eat up a country mile. Running a green light, a mission to move, something to prove, an itch in my shoe. I heard the wheel of a train from a burning stack and I jumped on the back. Yeah, the engineer threw the switch and it got to my brain. I've never been the same. You only see me smile when I eat up a country mile. Yeah, gotta make tracks, gotta lose some rust. Grease my heels, I'll race the bus. Don't blink your eyes, you won't see me again. And I'm running yet. I ran before I could walk. Price of the fare was hardly ever there. Saw an eight-wheeler move and I couldn't choose, I just had to cruise. You'll only see me smile when I eat up a country mile. But I was born on the side of the road, a gap in the hedge. Did you hear what I said? Born in a house with no slates, but I wouldn't switch, I didn't have the stench. I've always been out on a limb, I've been hard to mend like a kick in the shin. You'll only see me smile when I chew up a country mile. Woo! Gotta make tracks, gotta raise the dust. Grease my heels, I'll race the bus. Don't blink your eyes, you won't see me again.
High energy. That's what I went for with vibe number one. I went with high energy blues rock. And you can't go wrong with Roy Gallagher. Whoever asked out there, who asked? Who asked me who was this? Sam. This is Roy Gallagher, man. The premier Irish blues rock feller. He played a lot of slide too. But tragically, he passed away in the mid-90s. Related to liver failure because he had an extreme fear of flying, and his doctor prescribed him a lot of barbiturates and pills and things that kind of calmed him down. Also, he was an extremely heavy drinker, and I'm sure that didn't help. So rest in peace, Rory Gallagher. This next band they're also all completely dead. No, they're not all dead. Sit back and relax. Yeah, just be glad you're not dead.
Street corner talking, wonder what I'm gonna do. If you can't get a job, Compton will take care of you.
There it is. That was the last song of my first set. And just so you know, that was not Rory Gallagher. That was Savoy Brown. That's UK. Am I saying that right? Savoy? Maybe I should say Savoy. Savoy? Savoy? Somebody want to correct me in the audience that I'm saying something else wrong? Bunch of couch cushion Lotharios out here trying to tell me how to talk. I'm just kidding. Just relax. Don't get upset. You know, people get upset too easily nowadays. No, but yeah, that was my first set. That's all blues rock, and we got some heavier stuff coming up later on. But for now,
Air Supply and ABBA.
we got Air Supply, ABBA, and Bread, and 10cc for you guys. Leaf. Don't forget Leaf. I'm going to pass you off to Shaun now, and then I'm going to sit back and just relax. So take it away, Shaun.
I'm going to start mine with one of my favorites, and one of the lines in it is "Put a glide in your stride." So, like, you really should get up and start dancing.
Now, I like that while you were talking there, just all they got was your backside the whole time.
Yeah.
You really care about people. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me turn on your table. Okay, now you're good. Okay.
Well, all right. Star Child, citizens of the universe, recording angels. We have returned to claim the pyramids. Partying on the mothership. I am the mothership connection. Getting down in 3D. Light year grooving. Well, all right. You hear the noise? Ain't nobody but me and the boys. Get down. Hit it, fellas. Child here. Put a glide in your stride and a dip in your hip and come on to the mothership. Loose boot, doing the bump. Hustle on over here. Nothing but a party, y'all. Basic. Even your memory bank never got this far. Mothership connection. Home of the P-Funk, the bomb. Doing it in 3D. Let me put on my sunglasses here so I can see what I'm doing. You have overcome, for I am here. nothing but a party. Star Child here, citizens of the universe. I bring forth to you the good time on the mothership. Are you here? Sing, fellas. Nobody but me and the boys. Hit me. I gotta hit the bang. Hit the bang. If you hear any noise, it's me and the boys. Hit me. I want you to hit the bang. Hit the bang. Star Child here. Doing it in 3D. So good is good to me. Hit the bang. If you hear any noise, it's me and the boys. Hit me. Swing low, sweet chance, coming for to carry you home.
It's just me and the boys. Hit me. Hit the bang. Hit the bang. Oh, if you
What's that?
you gotta hit the bang.
Do it for me again. I don't think Star Child here, citizens of the universe, getting it on, partying on the mothership. When Gable's horn blow, you better be ready to go. Swing low, time to move on. Light years in time, ahead of our time. Free your mind and come fly with me. It's hip on the mothership. Cruising, start.
Cherry, stop and let me ride. Slow down, sweet cherry, stop and let me ride. Swing down, sweet cherry, stop and let me ride. Swing down, sweet cherry, stop and let me ride. Swing down, sweet cherry, stop and let me ride. Swing down, sweet cherry, stop and let me ride. Swing down, sweet cherry, stop and let me ride.
Are we on? That's one of my favorite tracks, and someone mentioned the horn section, like they borrowed part of James Brown's horn section, and that song was done by Clinton, Bootsy Collins, and Bernie Warnell, who's just phenomenal. Let's move on, something a little different, a little more grungier.
if you don't want me, I'll be sad. But if you do, I'll be you don't want me, I'll be sad. But if you do, but if you do, but if you do, I'll be glad, so glad, so
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing for sure. There are songs that Shaun's playing tonight that we've never played on any of these streams on my channel tonight. And I really dig that. That's kind of, again, we got this incredible cross-pollination of different vibes and styles of music. And by the way, you'll only see this right here. This is the only place, not only in the vinyl community, but complete internet. You'll never hear anything this diverse anywhere else, except for right here. And no, this is not the moment where I ask for people to give me a thumbs up. But if you want to, go ahead. I'll tell you what, you go with 45s and you're a busy. Randy knows about how busy you do when you end up running 45s. It's all you end up doing. You end up breaking a sweat. Shaun is sweating buckets right now, which kind of scares me, actually. Can you hear me now, Eric? Did the volume go up enough for your liking? Can your mustache hear what's going on right now? Maybe it's the whiskers are kind of, impeding the audio coming through your speakers. But I turned my mic up a little bit. It seems like the mic's either up too loud or it's too low or it's too loud or it's too low. So now it's probably too loud. Anyway, I hope you guys are digging the vibes tonight. He's kicking ass. Shaun, you want to say anything, Shaun? I don't,
Yeah, this next song has a little bit of dirt in it, and Aaron and I were talking about that one time. He says he doesn't mind albums that are a little beat up and stuff, but this might be one of the best songs like ever recorded ever.
I think vinyl sounds the best when it's full of cat hair. I turn it back. The more cat hair, the better. That's what I say. Am I talking into my beer bottle or the mic? I'm not really sure right now. Songs like that remind me of you go into a Bon Jovi concert and it's like 98% chicks, and yeah, not a dry seat in the house, as I like to say. Yeah, these are songs that a lot of these songs I haven't heard, and definitely a lot of these songs that Shaun's playing tonight have never been on any of these sessions tonight. So I love it. I'm loving it. Does your ass want to say anything, Shaun?
I got one more for the set. I wanted to play something from Philly. You know, I'm very proud living in Philadelphia. And I absolutely love the Fantastic Johnny C. So I'm going to play some Fantastic Johnny C.
Did you shut it off?
No. Should we wait for the thumbs up?
Come on through.
I'm very happy. Aaron told me to tell everyone I'm very happy. Is that like a threat? I'm safe. I'm not locked away in the pantry. I'm very happy. I hope everyone's enjoying the set. Aaron's getting ready for his second one. And I hope everybody was dancing and enjoying the sounds. I do. He was actually in town the other day. Are you ready? Some true Philadelphia. You ready for the next John? How many Johns do you have in your next set? You have 2 Johns? How many Johns do you have in your set? 5 songs? 5 Johns? 4 Johns. I think my next one has 5 Johns in it. You ready?
I didn't know John was like there was a plural to John. I just thought John meant like one thing, you know, like an umbrella statement kind of thing. But I have 4 Johns. On my second set, I got a lot of heavy stuff. I got some skate punk. I got some regular punk. I got some Philadelphia punk. I got some scary. You want me to show you? What? What? You do? You want me to show you? Okay. Let me show you what I got lined up here real quick. I'm going to play you some Suicidal Tendencies. Some Join the Army. Suicidal Rock. Got some Suicidal Tendencies. Got some Philadelphia punk. Got some Dead Milkmen coming up. Yeah, Pride of West Philly, Shaun just said. Or I think it's Heine just said that, actually. I'm going to be playing you something off of here, but I'm not going to be playing No Presents for Christmas. I'm going to be playing side B, which is Charon. If you don't know the history of Charon, check him out. He's like he drives the boat to like the afterlife. So make sure and keep a few coins in your pocket. When your time comes, you're going to need to pay the boatman. And then I'm going to play something that I've never played on the stream. I'm going to be playing a little pre-solo Yngwie stuff, some Steeler. So I hope you guys dig this set because what we've got here is a nice ebb and flow going to what we do, and I really like that kind of thing when we do our streams. We like a lot of diversity, and we got a lot of ebb and flow when it comes to what we're doing. I hope you guys are enjoying the vibes tonight. It's great to have you. We got 37 people hanging out in here tonight, and I'd like to thank every one of you people, even the people that never say anything. You realize how many people that visit like people's streams and they never say anything? Well, I'd like one of you people out there right now that never says anything. Just go ahead and type something in. Type something in the chat. Don't be scared. It's okay. Nobody's going to bite your head off. Nobody's going to call you weird names and make funny because you got a big nose or maybe got one ear. Maybe got a crooked eye like Sloth from the Goonies. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. We're an equal opportunity employer here. You can have the crooked eye, the missing ear, the hammer toe, the cleft palate, whatever. Maybe not the cleft palate, but whatever you got up until like a cleft palate will be okay. Everything is fine here. We're fine. If Shaun's fine with it, we're fine. Oh, he says he's okay with the cleft palate. I got like that much of and maybe a cat lip, like the rogue kind of cat lip. Which, by the way, my great grandmother had a cat lip. Remember the cat lip thing that was going around back in the turn of the century there? Yeah, a little bit of useless information for you from the Bizarro channel. But let's hit this up, and we're going to start with some Suicide, and we're going to move right on. We've got a second high energy set, and then we're going again, when I'm done my second vibe, we're going to push right over to Shaun here, and he's going to tell you all about what he's got going on. Or maybe his Heine is going to tell you about what's going on. Well, you never know. You never know here. Enjoy the set. do. I do feel your pain, and yet I survive. Whew. Now we got another one that's like so buried deep on this one side that I'm going to have some trouble finding it, so I better get to it. Hope you guys enjoying the vibes tonight. Shaun's going to give you a little useless information, a lot like I do.
I would just like to say that the clocks in here are all incorrect, and I said...
There's only one.
yeah, okay. I said the clock is wrong, and he yells out, only by an hour. I said, it's still wrong. So over here, we're at Atlantic Standard Time at 11:09. We're going back to the future soon. Are you ready?
No.
I hope everyone's having a good time. You sure?
Let's have sex with strangers in the men's room. We could do it and not get caught. Burn down the house where the metal kids live. All the Hendrix posters going up in flames. Let's have sex without birth control. Sell our offspring to some dirty old men. Let's play Big Black at 3 a.m. and tell the neighbors they can all get fucked. Coming over the first hill, I felt my body jerk. The attendant did not strap me in. I'm sure that I'm gonna die. This is my last roller coaster ride. This is my last roller coaster ride. This is my last ride. Down the street there's an accident. I hear that the bodies can still be seen. Let's call the sheriff a cocksucker. See if he's read the killer inside me. Let's have sex with pit bulls and maybe pollute their bloodline. Little Timmy's in the sandbox at the daycare center, run by ex-cons. Coming over the first hill, I felt my body jerk. The attendant did not strap me in. I see the loop is up ahead. This is my last roller coaster ride. This is my last roller coaster ride. This is my last ride. Burn it down and knock it over. Let's have sex with it or leave it alone. 3D Jesus by my bedside, talk to me when it's late at night. I thought I left you in Sri Lanka, working the desk at that sex hotel. For Christ's sake, why is the Bible dead yet? Coming over the first hill, I felt my body jerk. The attendant did not strap me in. I feel the track below my feet. This is my last roller coaster ride. This is my last roller coaster ride. This is my last ride.
Yeah, little Sri Lanka sex hotel for you guys. Anybody ever been to a sex hotel? I've been to some pretty seedy hotels, kind of, the hotels that they rent by the hour. You ever been to a hotel where they rent by the hour? I got to say, I've never had so much fun as when I've been to a rent by the hour hotel. because you really got to work hard. You know, you want to put in your time and get that hour's worth out of it. You know what I mean? But had a lot of cockroaches around. Yeah, a lot of cockroaches running all around the place. But still, good memory. Good memory, yeah. So we're going to move on. Little King Diamond, Sharon. Again, you want to pay the boatman when your time comes. Make sure and have your coin, because he ain't going to let you cross if you don't have your coin. So let's take a ride with Sharon. what can you fucking say about this guy? I know what I can say. I say the same thing every time I talk about King Diamond. Back in my roadie days, I did a lot of roadieing for my brother's band. He had a hardcore band. And we opened up for King Diamond one year. It was over in Philadelphia. It was at the Tower Theater. And King Diamond was playing. And I got to meet King Diamond. And I was really excited to meet King Diamond. And they said, you know, King's only got about a minute. He wants to meet you guys and say hi. So we were all excited. Me and my brother and the band were excited. And King Diamond comes walking out. Well, I thought it was like a little kid. King Diamond is like, you know, 5'4". He's a little tiny guy. And I remember looking down at him. I go, hey, how you doing down there, King? I was really just blown away that the guy was so short. And he had all his makeup on and everything. And he had his, like, femur mic holder. You know, he's got the femur, the cross femurs. And he looked up and had that look in his eye. And I was like, ooh. You don't want to fuck with this guy. He will gnaw your ankle off. But, yeah, great memories with King Diamond and a lot of metal bands and hardcore bands and thrash bands back in the day. I toured all over the country roadieing for my brother's band. It was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of bands. And like a quick side note before I do my last song. I got one more song coming up, and then we're going to pass it off to Shaun. And he's going to blow your fucking ear holes apart. I mean, you're going to need a rubber band to keep that thing shut. I mean, that thing's going to be leaking for a week. We played, when I say we, I mean my brother's band. We played a place called the Cell Block in PA. And the lineup was Typo Negative, my brother's band, Typo Negative, and Death was the headliner at the show. And what a great fucking show. After the show, Death, like Chuck Schuldiner and like the band, Gene Hoglan. Gene Hoglan at the time was like at his heaviest. He was walking around with 2 canes because he was so fucking big at the time that he couldn't even hold his own weight up. He had to use a couple canes. But they needed a ride. This was insane. They needed a ride back to their hotel. And we heard Chuck and all talking about, we got no fucking ride back to our hotel. What the fuck is going on? Where's the cab or where's the van? My brother jumps right up. He says, we'll give you a ride. And I was just fucking blown away. So we actually had the entire band, Chuck Schuldiner, in the back of my brother's 77 Dodge Tradesman van, loaded with equipment, and we gave these guys a ride back to their fucking hotel. I sat right next to Chuck Schuldiner. I actually got to touch Chuck at the time. We were shoulder to shoulder, man. It was a epic fucking night. It was a great night. Typo Negative was cool. We kind of made fun of Typo Negative at the time because our dude had like the stand-up bass and had like a massive chain, so he was holding it like a giant bass, and it wasn't like he had like a strap, this giant strap chain. We were laughing at him because I think at the time it was Black Number 1 was like the big song that Typo was getting known for, so we kind of made fun of them and. But having Death in the back of your van was like the most epic fucking thing ever, man. It was great. One of the memories that'll really stick in a guy's mind for the rest of his life. So, no, we didn't go into the hotel. We just dropped them off and they went on their way, Scotty. But what an epic night it was. Just being around these, they were like fucking gods to us, man. Death was, they were the pinnacle. And just even opening up for a band like Death in the early 90s like we did was it's just an amazing fucking thing. But, yeah, I got one more for you from Steeler. We got pre-Yngwie music here for you. And then we're going to pass everything off to Shaun and let him finish up his vibe for you. So I hope everybody's having a great time. That's enough gassing on my part, and let's jam the fuck out. Am I high, Randy? That is such a loaded question. Am I high? You know, these days I'm not really high all that much, believe it or not. I'm drinking some Blue Moons, but no, I'm not high tonight. What would lead you to the idea that I may be high tonight? I have no idea. So, yeah, I hope you dug the second vibe tonight. And now I'm going to pass you off to Shaun, and I'm going to sit back and relax for the rest of the night and let Shaun tell you all about the beautiful tunes he's got coming up, the sultry and suave and just the kind of things that tug at your heartstrings. So take it away, Shaun.
So I'm going to start. Well, first of all, I hope everyone's having a nice time, and I hope everyone's enjoying themselves, and everyone is welcomed. And I'm going to start off kind of slow. It's actually one of Jimi Hendrix's favorite guitar players, and then it'll get a little faster and some different grooves, some different stuff I wanted to play, and I really hope everyone enjoys.
Making up the
guys are digging the vibes. Some killer vibes tonight. Funky. Funky, like a record that came from Nick Pantazzi's basement. Funky as all hell. I like that smell, by the way, Nick. I thought maybe you store your records in a cave. I really like that. Good stuff. Hit it, Shaun!
Bridges I burn, a trail of ash and broken hearts. Will I ever learn? I got a bone to pick and a bone to break, whichever comes first. You gave your best and I gave the least to fill the curse. I'm not afraid what's out in the night. I'm not afraid of what will find come the morning light. And there ain't a bridge I can burn, and this one will do just fine. I'm not afraid what's out in the night. I can still remember the time when your eyes used to be so blue. I can still remember the time when your tears used to be so pure. I can still remember the lies you told, some old and some new. And I can still remember when I believed them all to be true. I'm not afraid of what's out in the night. I'm not afraid of what will find come the morning light. And there ain't a bridge I can burn, and this one will do just fine. I'm not afraid of what's out in the night. I know it's out there somewhere, or maybe buried inside. A smile and a drink with my name on it, and just waiting for me. I'm not afraid what's out in the night. I'm not afraid of what will find come the morning light. And there ain't a bridge I can't burn, and this one will do just fine. I'm not afraid of what's out in the night. Not afraid. 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 Not afraid.
Hey, Malia, I read your comment about how life sucks sometimes, and let me tell you something. Life sucks a lot more than sometimes, and it doesn't get any better as you get older, but I'll say this, like I said in my comments. It's times like that define a person. So my recommendation to you is persevere and push on through, because that's what's going to make you a well-rounded human being, how you adapt to times like those. Strife and issues in life, the way you react to these type of issues and the way that you push through and the end result, it's what makes you a better human being, Malaya. So from a very old man to a very young chick, persevere and push through, and you'll be a better person for it, trust me. Bizarro knows these things, trust me, I've been around. Hit it, Shaun.
I apologize if I'm having a hard time finding the track on this.
Hey, don't worry. This has happened a million times, Shaun. He's got green vinyl. He's trying to find a track like in the middle. So
Even look back. Don't even look upon me with your naked eyes. Shut up! get your hands off me. Hey, 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 lover's kiss, then I am gone.
You can see that. Shaun's busy tonight. Shaun's got 45s, he's got 33s, he's got 12-inch 45, which is what he just played. Now, what do you got now, Shaun? You got another 45? Yeah, a 7-inch 45? 7-inch. He's got green vinyl. He's got red vinyl. This guy's getting his ass kicked tonight.
Small man, how'd that sound? Just like you, I've got better to do. Sit around, fuck my head, hang out with a new jet, throw a jet, hold up, pass out, I shot, I live in the speed, tonight, I just don't live. I got standage. I'm a person just like you, I've got better to do. Sit around and fuck up, cause I know that I can jump. Let the thought, eat it right, let the thoughts give it go. I want to give it done, never want to get a grudge.
How long was that? 50. That may be the shortest song we've ever played here. Yep. Nice fingers. Get those manicured, man. You guys digging this shit? Come on, give Shaun a round of applause. I mean, this dude came all the way out from Philly town. You know what it's like driving over the bridge into another state? It's fucking hell, especially when you're coming from Philadelphia, man. Hit it, Shaun.
ago. It hasn't ran about, other feelings came about. It was once, I know it's here to stay. Sitting silently, like a storm come over me. Yes, we all know it's true, but there's nothing I can do. Open-minded, understood. I guess I knew it couldn't last for good. It was once, I know it's here to stay.
All right, Sean's fucking killing it. Killing it. Well, Sean's got two more. He had one more, and then he asked me about playing Tad, and you got to play some fucking Tad. So he's going to finish this setup with Tad. What do you got next, Sean? Operation Ivy. This guy is bringing the fucking fire, man. Laying it down. Laying that audio pipe. How's your ear holes? Are they getting blown open? I'm going to get them rubber bands out, keep that thing shut. He can't see the track. Now he's seeing how we deal with this shit on Hydra. It's not always easy to see what the fuck you're trying to find on these tracks. Sometimes we had to omit a song completely because we couldn't find a track. It's in the middle of the LP or something. So nothing new here. No, I don't mind. Go ahead. Am I talking over your time, Sean?
I like to say a few things now. I'm going to play some Operation Ivy. I grew up listening to Operation Ivy, growing up skateboarding, and a lot of these bands. But I ended up meeting Jesse, I think when I was 18, and he had moved down south. Yeah. And he was bagging groceries at a grocery store, and he was like completely changing his life when the band broke up. And he was a big part of helping me in my life and a lot of changes I went through at the same age. And so I always appreciate him, and I still talk to him from time to time. And he's also a painter and artist also. So hopefully I get the track right. It's incredibly hard to find on the 45.
By a consuming want and need, never Think hard, think blood, think well. Thought about the bitter bit. Jail something falling weight. Thought I had it looked away. What you do anyway? Some youth, opposition for the right. Burn attention, always in the appetite. Always been reminded. Think hard, think well. All is away, get it out. Think hard, think well. All is away, get it out. All is away, get it out.
I got one more. Does anybody like Operation Ivy? I find that to be a very powerful song. You know, living in Philadelphia, I was just telling Aaron every day on the way to work. It's really sad to see the amount of homeless people on the street, like sleeping, and it's sad. And a lot of times I do like homeless outreach, trying to help, and that song is like dealing with that. So I got one more. I know Russ is here, and I bought one of my original tags with me covering Black Flag.
My name's Chad, and you're stuck with me. Damage! 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 Take me away! Damage! I don't want to go out anymore. I just want to stay home and go matching fingers go. Go matching fingers I go. Fingers go, go matching fingers go, in a cold sweat. Damage! Damage!
That's it. I hope everybody enjoyed that. That's 45 of that one. 1989, really early sub hop. Hope everybody enjoyed the sounds. I saw a few people said they enjoyed Tad. I saw a few things for Skid Row. I do not like Skid Row. I was telling Aaron before too. Like, singer used to wear that really nasty T-shirt back in the day, and he's just arrogant and rude and disgusting. Mr. Sebastian Bach. So.
He uses an auto-tune, doesn't he? Doesn't Sebastian Bach use a fucking auto-tune? I could have swore I heard him singing. He sounded like fucking Cher from 1995. That guy's a fucking creep. Sebastian Bach. 7-octave fucking douche. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys dug the vibes. I put a link out. Anybody wants to come up and chat for a little while, we'll chat it up. If not, fuck it. I'll get Shaun drunk and make him regret he ever did anything here tonight. Yeah. Hashtag straight edge, he told me to say. Is that what the kids do nowadays? Hashtag. Oh, by the way, here's one we played earlier. Shaun brought this by for me to play. Now, I've got this original one from France. It's a French press, but I got it on CD. And Shaun brought this by. Is this 45? Yeah, this is 45 RPM. Heart-shaped box. I guess you could call it an EP. And this has heart-shaped box on it, Milk It, and Marigold, which is Dave Grohl singing that one, right, Shaun? Yeah. Yeah. Which is one of the early, right? He was saying he's playing guitar on this as well, which is it's really interesting to hear this on 45 because the CD sounds really good, but when you don't have anything to compare it to, and then you hear it on 45, it sounds really fucking good. And we've got some original Kurt Cobain artwork on here, and also I'm showing it right now. And so we were talking about earlier is if you're of a certain age and you were around, and if you were in the Nirvana and the Seattle thing back then, maybe not so much like the Seattle thing, but if you were in the Nirvana back in the day, and when I heard that Kurt Cobain died, it fucking crushed me. And it was difficult. And I think I played In Utero probably 3 times a day for the next month straight. And then there was a long period in between where I really didn't want to listen to him at all because it hurt. He was kind of like one of our heroes. And Shaun, as we were talking about earlier, he feels kind of the same way. And it still kind of hits home to Shaun even now. So it's a really big deal when somebody like that goes away too soon. We always wonder what the future may be like for bands like Nirvana and maybe the solo situations that would have been for individual members, but we'll never actually know. Though we've got a little tiny taste of what maybe the progression would have been, and sure is a great thing to have. I consider myself lucky to be part of that scene back in the day. 91, I was a 20-year-old back in 91, so I had the distinct pleasure of being able to drink in bars and hearing great bands like that back in the day as it happened. And again, I'm extremely lucky. I'm one of the few people I know that actually got to see Nirvana play live. I saw them in New York in 93, and it's a show I'll never forget, even though I don't remember quite a bit of it. It's just knowing you were there was, payback enough. So, yeah. I hope you guys dug the vibes tonight. We got a couple people here. Let's bring them on up. We got Randy's in the house. Good to see you, Randy. And we got the man, the myth, the mustache. We got Eric. Good to see you, homie. How's everybody doing?
I don't have a mustache, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Randy doesn't have his mic on again. He's got a dead mic. And here we go. Hey, what's happening, homie?
Not a mustache.
Okay. We got not a mustache here.
Not a mustache. I'm gonna
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that better than I say you don't have a mustache? How about the nose ring? The man, the myth,
that's
ring.
there. Obviously, that's there. I mean, come on.
Now, Shaun's got a little, because he's in close proximity, he's a little bit of echoing going on, so I may have to pass the mic off now and then to Shaun to get him to talk. Although we could give it a try. Who knows what's going to happen? But pretty interesting set tonight. What do you think, guys? Pretty neat, huh?
That was good.
I loved it.
Yeah, how you doing, Steve?
Doing good. I haven't heard Hot Ivy in a while. Probably a year or two since I pulled out their records.
Interesting. Yeah, there you go, Sean. You're vindicated for your choices. Beautiful.
That's funny you mentioned their Nirvana single. So the lead singer for the band that I was in the early '90s, his wife was from Olympia, and she was in a Riot Girl band at the time, and she toured with or did shows with all those guys, and she bought 45s at every show just as like a reminder of the show, and she had all the Nirvana original 45s and never played them, didn't have a record player, just collected them though. She's probably got $40,000 worth of 45s now, and like
Wow.
I mean, she's got all this stuff from before anybody knew who they were,
Right.
and she was the one that turned us on to them. So when Nevermind first came out, people think it blew up right away. It was a couple months before it kind of hit the radio and blew up everywhere. And she played it for us. And I remember really liking it, thinking it was kind of a cool sound, Not thinking anything of it after that, though, And then like 2-3 months later, all of a sudden it's blowing up everywhere, That was a pretty interesting.
Hey, John.
I could add myself. I forgot.
Did you bring yourself up?
Yeah, I was sitting there waiting, and I'm like, oh,
I apologize. Sorry.
No,
about
I
that,
don't.
buddy.
I don't mind. Yeah.
I always like that
Cheers,
song
guys.
from Nirvana. I can't remember the lyrics were like mashed potatoes and brown gravy. Mashed potatoes and brown gravy. You guys remember that?
You know that one, Sean?
Oh, is that the More Than a Feeling song?
More than a feeling.
Oh, that Sean says they're alternate lyrics to Teen Spirit.
That's right.
Right? Was that the song that was the Boston ripoff? More Than a
Yeah,
Feeling?
it is more than a feeling.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
got that same chord progression, but
Which was a ripoff of Louie Louie, so I love it.
when I first heard it, though, it changed my life. Because at that time,
Nirvana, really.
hair metal was everywhere, and I didn't really care for it, and my sister did. And I remember hearing it was like a bolt of lightning. Hearing that and hearing Primus, and just being
Primus,
like,
Yeah. Maybe
yeah.
I'm a little older than you because I heard Ooskadoo and the Replacements, and so when Nirvana came around, I didn't think it was anything new,
Well, I had Husker Du too, but for some reason with Kurt, and a friend of mine said, because a similar life, and just he took out all his frustrations on a DS1 distortion pedal and the guitar, and it was quite groundbreaking.
DS1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
went
liked Mudhoney, and then Nirvana, I felt weren't as good, and
I-
obviously I was wrong because Mudhoney went nowhere and Nirvana went huge.
I liked Nirvana, but I got into Alice in Chains first, and that was a band I was hooked on that whole time. Actually, I just saw them like a month ago.
Does
I went
anyone
to
here
I went
like
to high school
Starland
with a
vocal
dude
band?
who was in a band. His cousin was Kurt Cobain, and so anytime his band would play, Kurt and other people would show up for the shows. All these all ages venues in the area where I grew up.
Is this the part of the show where we do the MoFi discussion? Is this the MoFi panel? I would like
I've been
to
pushing for
discuss-
UHQR Sticks. Kilroy was here. I think that
Kilroy.
Is that
I'd
Mr.
like
Could I
to
just-
discuss
Kilroy?
the MoFi Operation Ivy I have?
I just want to interrupt. No Baloney Anzalone. This is the Gorilla Angreb I listened to. I think it's a comp of all their early singles, but this is great. I think it's a Danish punk band, but they sound like X, the American X, female and male singer. But he brought it up, and it was they're an obscure band, but I just listened to this the other day. That's it.
Y'all
Thank you.
want to talk about ABBA?
ABBA.
Leif Garrett, Starland vocal band.
Are these artists that are on your mind right now, Sean?
I could tell my Leif Garrett story, which I'm sure you guys all heard before.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you hear it? You heard it
No,
already?
I haven't.
Okay, so
being
my buddy's
serious.
band, my buddy's band opened when Leif Garrett had a rock band in late '90s, early 2000s. So we went, and I had a copy of the Leif Garrett album from the '70s. I bought with the Joke records. I said, let me bring it because it's still sealed. And I went over and I met Leif Garrett, after the show, and I had the record. And I wanted to sign it, but I was being a real asshole, think he was a loser, and I was just being a real jerk to him. and he's talking to me, and I'm being like, oh yeah, this, and like being a cool guy. And he the more he kept talking, like he was really cool, and I felt like a real jerk to him because he was a really nice guy. And so I felt really bad. And he signed my record. I could probably grab it. And he wrote all this stuff. And it ended up, we had this conversation. He was talking about old TV and Hawaii Five-0. And I walked away saying, like, I really was an asshole, like trying to be cool. And he was a nice guy. But as I walked away, the newspaper was there, the Boston Globe, the big paper. And they saw me and him talking for like 5 or 10 minutes. And so they interviewed me. And like, they asked me, they didn't interview me. They asked me a question or something. But then I got in the newspaper as John, like this super fan. Like they thought I was a super fan because they saw me with the album, chatting with him, like, and I was in the
That's
newspaper as
awesome.
like some Leif Garrett super fan. And, like I'm like,
Kind of
it
backfires.
was brilliant. No, I mean I got a big kick out of the whole thing, but it was hysterical. Like,
Remember that behind the music he did where he met the guy in the park that he paralyzed and all? He was all crying
yeah,
and
but
shit.
I felt he got a bad rap on that because me and you were drinking. We're both drunk, and we say, let's go get more beer. Who takes the keys? And we crash. It could have been me, could have been you. We both made that decision together, kind of like with Vince Neil and Raz.
Yeah, Motley Crue.
You can't. It's not like I was drunk and I had my family in the back, or I was drunk and we went together to get more beer, and we were both shit faced. Like the guy who had the keys or the passenger, you're both at blame.
I think the guy driving's probably more to blame than the guy in the passenger seat.
Yeah, but it was a flip of a coin. It could have been me that took the wheel. It's
That's
hard.
true. It's
You're
just,
both together.
Just don't drink and drive. What else?
Yeah,
can you
don't
say?
drink.
I mean, that's the solution, really, is to just not drive if you're drinking.
That's
Well,
a
we got
great
Uber now. They
idea.
didn't have that shit back then, and cabs were hard to get in the cities.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's so much fun though to have a few drinks and drive around.
No, it's not.
I mean,
Randy.
I'm not saying I never did it, Randy. Okay.
I'm kidding, kids. I'm kidding out there, kids.
I remember riding my bike at like 2 a.m. drunk. I had to get home and taking back roads the whole way, going like 5 miles an hour.
Like a motorbike or like a BMX?
It was a motorcycle. There were no buses. I couldn't afford a cab. I was like 17 years old. I had a little 250, and I'm literally taking back roads, trying not to cross any major roads to get back home, going as slow. And I was probably going slower than that. I was so fucked up. But yeah, it was. I forgot about that until you just brought that up.
Yeah, one time we went out and we were all just completely blasted, like legless, and we were with a girl and she wasn't drinking. She was a lady, and she never drove a car ever because a lot of us we all living in the city. She never drove a car. We made her drive for the first time ever, like getting us home, and we're all shit faced, teaching her how to drive. But it was better to get her pulled over with no license than any of us behind the wheel. That was a good.
Well,
time.
and the thing with me, it wasn't just me. I had my buddy on the back of the bike, so he was drunk too, and he's like swaying back and forth, trying to hold on to me, and I'm trying to keep the bike up. I mean, it was a 250. That's not a heavy bike, but yeah, it was.
No, I've been pretty lucky, honestly. It's my early days, 17, 18, early 20s. There have been some times, there's one time in particular I remember distinctly. I was drinking Goldschlager. Anybody remember that shit?
Oh, God, dude.
I've got
I
a
drank
blackout
a
story
shit.
for
I
you
mean,
when
I
you're
must have
done.
drank half a fucking bottle of this stuff. And, I had a 70 and a half Camaro Rally Sport, Super Sport, and I was driving home, and it was one of those generalizations where you pick the one in the middle. There were like 3 or 4 of what I was looking at. I remember thinking, just pick the one in the middle. Yeah, I barely fucking made it home.
I used to be like this.
Yeah, it was insane. It was one of the last times where I actually did something that fun.
Yeah, that's where you just like roll the window down and you got your face hanging out the window, trying to wake
January, man. You just frostbite when you get home.
Goldschlager caused my first blackout. It had just come out. When was that? Like 92 or 93 or something like that when that shit came out. And we were at a house party for a band. The band every Friday or Thursday night would do a house party. They would do a live set. And on the way there, we were getting stoned as fuck in the car all the way there. So I was already trashed, and somebody passed over the Goldschlager bottle. I was like, dude, this shit tastes amazing. And I just started chugging it. I woke up. I remember waking up on their living room floor the next morning, and I had a gash. I've still got a scar somewhere. I had a big old gash on my forehead, though. I guess I got drunk and started slam dancing in front of the band and fell into the drums and cut my head open on one of the cymbals.
I don't know what was
any
worse. I don't know what was worse, man. Goldschlager or Aftershock? But I mean, both of those things were fucking foul, man. Like,
Yeah.
The Goldschlager was it was more like schnapps. That shock. What was it? What was it called?
Aftershock with like
Dude, that
the
stuff
fucking
tasted horrible.
like
Adrian brought up
the sugar
Zima.
rocks in it. Oh.
Yeah, I remember
Did
they
they have
had
a
that
Zima
shot
phase,
glass
by the
with
way?
like the different Richter scale
Zima.
things on it.
Yeah, I had a Zima phase in like the early '90s. Adrian brought up Zima.
Oh, man.
I used to buy that shit by the case.
What about
trying to
Taos?
bring that back.
Taos.
Taos?
Taos. Taos. It was the competition of Zima.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Bartles and James.
I do remember those.
Remember those commercials? Those two old fuddy duddies sitting on the porch.
Back in the day, I would just carry around fucking bags of Ernest and Julio. Like, I'd take it out of the box and just carry the bag.
You guys remember Cisco?
Oh yeah,
That's what
yeah,
we used
Cisco's
to buy.
what
'Cause
you
it was
got
like
when you didn't have money
$1.50
for
a bottle
beer.
or $1.99 a bottle. And at
Yeah.
16, we could walk into the liquor store and they would sell it to us.
Mad Dog, same
No,
same
Is that like
elevation. Mad Dog.
Thunderbird?
Yeah, same shit.
Mad Dog's making alcohol again. They make like a fruit punch or some shit.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I
Can you
just saw a
imagine?
video, or I just saw a thing about that, what the MD actually stands for. I thought it was Mad Dog my whole life. It's actually like the names of the people.
Sean is so straight edge. He doesn't even know how to react
Yeah.
to this conversation right now.
I went to
he's
a
drinking
straight
soda water
edge.
right now.
I went to a straight edge. It was like not a festival. It was like a rundown building. There were like 15 straight edge bands playing. We didn't know what straight edge was yet. You know, the guys, they had the full on, Minor Threat, everything. The bands were fantastic, and we pull out some joints and start lighting up. Dude, I've never gotten my ass kicked so bad. Dude, that was a rough night. Then we're outside smoking, because I just got my ass kicked. So I'm smoking cigarettes. These guys are coming out talking shit the whole time. But we just wanted to watch some music, man. Actually, we were there seeing a friend's band, Bleach. That was a Christian straight edge band.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
hating his poster.
Did they do Nirvana type stuff?
What's that? No, this is before
Bleach?
Nirvana. Well, it was about the same time, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember the first
no,
time
I'm
my
sorry, it
brother
wasn't
was,
Bleach. It was Chlorine was the name of the band.
Chlorine. Oh, you're right
Chlorine.
there. Yeah. My brother is 5 years older than me, and I remember what a fucking asshole this guy. Older brothers are just complete assholes, man. For my 14th birthday, he gets me a bottle of fucking Southern Comfort. He gets me a fifth of Southern Comfort and a bag of fucking pretzels. And says happy birthday. So what's a 14-year-old do? We go out back to your fort. We had a fort out back in the tree.
Yeah.
And I drank about half of this fucking. I can't even smell this shit to this fucking day.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I vomited
yeah.
for about 6 fucking hours.
I'm like that with gin. I can't smell gin
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh, gin is.
If I
Yeah.
drink
brutal.
vodka, it takes me right back to like 11th grade. Like
I'm that way with rum, man.
It happened to me in the Navy, though. I had never. I'm a whiskey guy. I always have been. And you drink whiskey and you get drunk as you're drinking it. I didn't know that
Oh, is
gin
it?
takes a while to hit you. And
I thought
we
you
were
wanted to
doing.
get
It was
on
like
this.
Tanqueray. It was like Tanqueray.
Sean's
and,
muted. I don't know.
It was like Tanqueray and orange juice or some shit, and I'm just chugging them, thinking that
Did
this
you
shit
hit
is
the
weak.
link? Or should I put the link out again?
And then all of a sudden, it just jacked me up. It hit, and that was the worst night, man. I'm throwing up for like 3 hours.
Dude, the first time I ever drank liquor, it was Bacardi 151, and I drank half a fifth.
Yep. That's
And
why
I drank about a quarter of the fifth, and I was like, I don't feel anything. This shit's pretty weak. And my buddy's like, get up and walk around the room a few times. So I did, and by like the fourth time trying to walk around the room, I just kind of like fell over onto one of those like.
I had some
satellite
weed
dish
like that in
chairs.
Seattle.
What's that?
I had some weed like that in Seattle. We went to the Moore Theater to see. I don't remember who we saw there. Maybe Super
I've seen
Chunk,
many bands at the Moore Theater.
Super Chunk, or somebody like that. And some local guy gave us some weed, and it was Creeper, and we're taking huge hits, and we're like, this stuff is trash. The Arizona weed is better. And fucking, I got up and I started to walk somewhere, and I fucking fell over. I was so fucked up. Dude, I had never had weed like that before, you know.
Yeah, or like when you get drunk, or when you're stoned and you're kind of walking sideways, where you're just trying to keep your balance, and then you fall over, and that's the worst part, man. When you're really, really, really bad.
What's funny is that Seattle weed was 30 years ago, and the buddy I was with still brings that up every time I see him. Remember that time he got fucked up and fell over?
I want to get Shaun in on this, but he's got nothing to say. He wants to drink it. He wants to talk about the seltzer water. So I don't.
I mean, we can go back to his ABBA discussion. It sounded like he wanted to talk about
I
ABBA.
can show some ABBA 8-tracks. I actually have some ABBA 8-tracks I can show.
Nice.
Seattle at that time was amazing, though. Like the mid 90s.
That's where ABBA belongs, is on 8-track, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out here my whole life, so.
Well, that's the only place I've ever been where, like, I didn't grow up in like Hollywood. You know, I'm from Phoenix. You know, that was the only place I had ever been where, like, every night, whether it was a Phoenix Underground or the Moore Theater or any of those places, it was like every big signed band was playing every night in local clubs there. You know, you can go and pay $5 and see L7 or Babes in Toyland or you know, Soundgarden would show up and do sets.
There used to be a running joke that so there's this.
That's great, Nick.
North Seattle. There's a place called Northgate, and Northgate has a mall. And Kim Thale from Soundgarden used to get spotted in Northgate Mall like all the time. So it became a running joke that he actually worked at the Orange Julius in Northgate Mall.
Oh, it's hilarious.
And then there was Sir Mix-a-Lot was up there. You'd see him all the time in the same mall, Northgate Mall.
My cousin lives in Seattle, and he moved out there like during that scene. He was a big music guy, but he was telling me he goes into bars, you know, back in the day, and he'd sit right next to those guys and just party with them at the bar, you know.
Yeah.
And you'd be at the club watching them, and they'd just be hanging out and stuff. I mean, it was. I like I said, I had never experienced that where major label bands are just chilling everywhere, and they're just part of the locals. It's no big deal, you know. I was freaking out.
The house I grew up in was about 4 or 5 blocks from. I can't remember if it was the DeGarmos or the Rockenfelds lived about 4 or 5 blocks from where I grew up. So when I was really young, probably like around 83, 84, be like riding BMX bikes in the cul-de-sac because I had a friend that lived up the hill from the DeGarmos or the Rockenfelds, whichever one it was. But Queensryche could be like playing in the garage on weekends. This was like pre Rage for Order. So like after the war,
they were a good metal band.
What's that?
Prog Route. When they were, so
the synchronicity there, right, is that like, you know, Mazzy always talks about going to Easy Street Records in West Seattle, but before it was there, Easy Street Records had a location that was right by my high school, which is where we would all go. And the dude who ran that shop was the original manager for Queensryche, and so we would go in there, and he'd just like tell us all stories. We're like, dude, we're fucking punk rock. We don't care about Queensryche, you know, like. We're not impressed. I'm kind of impressed now as an older person, an older gentleman, but back then I didn't want to hear about Queensryche stories. Come on.
They were a good band though.
That EP and fucking The Warning.
Yeah, the EP and the first record, and they opened for Iron Maiden. Like they were a big deal.
I've talked about Queensryche before in the past. You know, my brother was in the thrash and heavy metal, and he had like a reputation in the town because he had a band that everybody went to see, and I was literally not allowed to like bands like Queensryche. They were not hard enough.
by the time
Yeah, that
thrash
EP
came
was
out, yeah,
heavy,
we didn't
though.
like them.
Yeah, so
And
like
what
Eric
sucks
was
is-
saying, it was years and years later that I
Yeah.
finally started to be able to get into Queensryche and understand that they were actually pretty cool.
I still think Queen of the Reich is the best song they ever wrote.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I hate that it's still on their set and they play a prog version of it now instead of that heavy early
Isn't
version.
it? Who's? It's
No,
not
it was
Kane
pretty good
anymore,
when I
right?
saw
It's-
them.
It's,
They did a
guy
pretty
from
straight
Era
version
Parent.
of it.
what's that?
It's the singer from Heir Apparent is the singer now.
God, Heir Apparent were like Diet Queensryche back in the day.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean he sounds just like they opened up for Priest when I saw Priest earlier this year.
that was
Yeah.
like back then. I mean, they got just as much vitriol from us when we were in high school as Heir Apparent, fucking Sanctuary, and Queensryche was just like, ugh.
I love Sanctuary.
I love Sanctuary and Queensryche now. I can't say the same for Heir Apparent. Like I just hear a cheesy Queensryche knockoff with that first.
Yeah,
Heir
that's all
Apparent
they ever
record.
were. Yeah. Yeah, it fits perfect.
Thought for the evening. One of the albums Aaron was playing, like same band member, different band, and we were talking about it briefly. How some people like that band more than like the original band, and we were talking about other bands. And I said something about the Misfits and Danzig. And for the life of me, I can't understand. Like some people only like Danzig, but they don't like the Misfits because to me they're very similar.
Yeah,
And Aaron thinks they're very different. So what do you all think?
I think
I think they're very different.
I think different, and also sometimes the same.
I tell you what, though, whatever people think of Danzig, that guy was the head of every scene that he was ever. I mean, he was so far ahead of everybody else with his writing and how many bands emulated him after.
I think in 100 years or whatever, in 20 years, I think the Misfits will be rated as America's greatest band, or one of them, like up there with the Beach Boys. I mean, this guy wrote just the Misfits. How many songs with brilliant hooks, with brilliant lyrics, ahead of its time, being an outsider artist, doing it on their own with no label. It's just pure genius. I think they even, they ranked next to the Ramones. Like they even surpassed the Ramones as how many songs they had in a short period of time. And every one of those is a pop song.
Killer. Yeah.
At this
everyone.
Point, if I had to pick a favorite of his projects, honestly, at this point for me, it's probably Sam Hain. Like, if I'm not lying, but
I love Sam in the 90s.
I like Sam Hain, but they're a little more heady. Like the Misfits are just pop tunes, but I mean they're so demented and so punk and do it yourself.
They're more accessible for sure.
But they're from New Jersey, so that's a minus.
Static Age, though, I think Static Age is one of the best punk albums ever written. It's crazy to me that it didn't get released until what was it? 92?
I have to say it's one of the best rock and roll records because you hear Elvis, you hear Roy Orbison, you hear The Cult, you hear like the Doors, you hear all this stuff, and they mixed it in with horror movies and just hooks, 1950s like girl groups.
Lucifuge is actually on my turntable right now. I was listening to it right before the podcast today. That's funny you brought that up.
I find it interesting though that a lot of people love like Danzig solo, but they don't really care for the Misfits. And when I meet someone that likes the Misfits, they like all of it.
It's a different scene though. It feels like guys that got into heavy metal guys didn't get into Danzig until the Danzig albums, and then maybe they went back and heard the Misfits stuff. Where it's a different scene though. It feels like guys that got into
Rush. You got to shut off your YouTube. You're on StreamYard now. Close the window for YouTube.
Boom, done.
All right.
Yeah. So
I got into him for Sam Hain, so it's kind of that mix between the two. So I loved all of it.
Yeah, another one like for me, like I've never met people that like one or the other. Like Husker Du and Sugar. People that like Husker Du like Sugar.
I don't really like Sugar.
I don't like Sugar,
either, but most
I don't
people,
like either
they
of
love
them.
it.
I've never liked Husker Du,
and I only like select Husker
You need to
Du.
leave now.
I don't know what it is. I was around when they first came out. I was skating at the time. I actually saw them with Jodie Foster Army in Phoenix with JFA, and I don't know. I just never got into Husker. I've tried too. I've got a couple of their albums, and I just can't
revisit Land Speed Record. That's like the rawest one in my opinion. That's
I love Zen Arcade.
Yeah, Zen Arcade. I think is
Zen Arcade's amazing. New Day Rising is amazing, but
these are over here.
Land Speed Record's the one I keep going back to right now for whatever reason. It's probably because it was the one I was latest to.
See, it's always. I think I got the first one I got of theirs is Warehouse, or no, it was Candy Apple Gray, and I really didn't like it.
That's that's basically a pop record.
Yeah.
Maybe I just got into him too late. I don't know. That's about when I saw him. It was 87 or 88.
Welcome, Russ. By the way,
I like some Descendants, but I hate all. So
I'm not a big Descendants fan.
I like the first record. That's
you can basically blame Descendants for the entire '90s skate rock scene.
Agent Orange, Descendants.
I can't find the record.
The whole Fat Records, fucking.
Yeah, I mean they're basically all a copy of that first.
Daft Punk.
Yeah. So.
TSOL, I like. I think they're a little different. The original TSOL.
That first
I love the Adolescents
record is fucking killer, dude. Like, totally depraved. Like as far as the lyrics go, like what's the hospital song, the Code Blue.
I even like their later stuff. I've got 4 or 5 of their albums. I liked all of the TSOL stuff.
I got a couple singles from.
They had it where there was what was it, the Sounds of Liberty, where there was no original members left, and it kind of had their hair like.
Yeah, I even like that one. It's more a metal album.
When they went to that Profile Records that they went to on.
I like the Jack Grisham stuff. That guy was nuts.
Oh yeah. The first two TSOLs for me are where it's at. Yeah. I put that first TSOL with like the first DI and the first fucking Adolescent.
I love DI.
Yeah, I even throw the first Social Distortion in there because I think of that California all together.
Yeah.
Like
the Vandals EP, fucking
Social Distortion, great band. I love those guys.
Interesting band, I'd say. I say they were great. That first album's a great punk record. And they were like a decent rock band, but a terrible rockabilly band when they kind of went that way. Like
try to get into it. Yeah, the first few records, I really
the Ring of Fire cover. Like if I have to hear the Ring of Fire cover from Social Distortion ever again.
Yeah.
Well, it's like he wanted to touch his foot into rockabilly, but he didn't want to commit to it. You know what I mean? He wanted to
cue that record up now. Are y'all ready?
Not really rockabilly, and I like that stuff too, but. Yeah,
it was like awful version of rockabilly, but like it was like Prison Bound. Like, oh, this is pretty good rock and roll record with punk edge. But the punk record, I think, is fantastic.
Wouldn't that have been funny if Aaron and I planned to play that entire side tonight, and you're all like well, there goes our show.
It's all good. I mean, I like it all. It's all good. I'm just,
I thought it was interesting tonight when I played the Middle Class. A lot of people were like had like holding ear things in the chat, like they couldn't stand.
I think it was just Kimba.
Yeah,
I love that.
I was telling Aaron, they were like really young when they recorded that. It's like similar to Minor Threat. They were like 15, 16 years old.
That's considered one of the first hardcore songs.
It is,
hardcore records.
It is. And what's amazing about it too, the Middle Class, like the Germs and stuff, they learned how to play music by listening to Glam and Bowie, and the Middle Class learned how to play by listening to the Germs.
Yeah.
So they took it to a whole different level, not like very sophisticated playing, almost like how the Beatles started. This is the Beatles chat of our discussion, right? So like learning how to play their instruments and coming up with this like amazing music. I mean, think about that, making such a mark at that age. You know, I was 17 or 16. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, and they're making amazing music. Similar to the Adolescents, you know, making this mark of this is who I am, this is my existence. It's very powerful.
The Germs were a funny one for me because I love watching their live stuff, but I don't like their album.
Yeah, if Darby didn't kill himself, they wouldn't be as popular as they are. You know, they're not a great band.
Dude,
the live videos with Darby, I love though.
GI is not a 100% perfect album, but the tracks that are killer on that record are fucking killer.
Yeah. Pat Smear too is just amazing. And he's got that one guitar, and he was learning how to play guitar when the band started. Laura Doom on bass, that PVT 40 bass, amazing.
It's like I'll lose my shit for Richie Dagger. Like that.
You know what I listened to yesterday? And it's a CD was Catholic Discipline, another band from that scene. Not a great band. If you know them, they were in the movie too.
The Decline? The first Decline?
Yeah, I think they were in the first Decline, right? Catholic Discipline.
I don't remember, man. It's been so long.
No, maybe imagine it, but they were out of that scene.
And one of my favorite variations of Black Flag's in the movie too. Russ,
I like all the
do you have the album with you?
It's funny though. I obviously grew up with Henry Rollins as the singer of Black Flag, and I can't listen to I listen to My War. That's the only Henry Rollins era that I still like to listen to. I find myself
That's-
going to the earlier stuff.
Damage is it, man.
Damage
That's-
is slip it in.
Yeah.
My War, I think, is cringy. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like my war. I like Damage too. I just don't go to it anymore. I've really been going to the year with who was the original singer? Was it Greg?
You had like 3 original singers before.
Ron. Is it Romero? Something Romero.
You had Des Cadena. You had freaking Keith Morris. You had
Keith Morris is great.
Roland's
Keith was
band.
my-
I got some
Maybe it was a
CDs
Keith
around here somewhere.
I think Keith is my favorite of all the Black Flag singers.
I think it was the Keith stuff. But yeah, that's the stuff I go to now. Is the earlier stuff. I still love Henry Rollins. Don't get me wrong, but man, maybe I just played that shit out in the late '80s when I was
Keith Chavo was the other one.
Chavo.
There we go.
Chavo
you
and
got
Dez. Yeah.
too. Yeah, Dez.
That's the. This is my favorite
That's
one.
your
The first
That's
4
what I'm
years.
talking about, right? That's the exact.
This is. You could. I could have this and Damage, and I'm done with the band. You know.
That's the album I play all the
I
time.
do like
That
Slip
one.
It In. I do like a couple of songs. You know.
There's one other album with all the early singles. Another one that's like that too that I listen to pretty regularly.
Everything Went Black.
Yeah.
They had that one record with it was just like instrumental Black Flag.
Yeah, it was The Process of Weeding Out. I
Is
love
that
that.
My
record.
Family or something like that?
No, The Process of Weeding Out. It's got the devil looking through a microscope at a bunch of sperms for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a great instrumental, like almost jazz record, like real pretentious guitar record for Greg Ginn, like total show off
Actually,
album.
just bought about a year ago. I bought 5 original pressings. The guy thought they were represses. So I had them
That's
for like
so weird,
35
right?
bucks a piece.
Sweet.
So how was that car show, Aaron? You went to the car show last Saturday?
Yeah,
Oh, he doesn't
it
have
was.
you get the mic.
Yeah, it's like an annual thing. It's down towards the shore. It's essentially
Because
right
it's kind
on
of
the shore.
based in it out of like a junkyard almost. Because I remember you went last
Yeah.
year, right?
Yeah, it's a really old junkyard that's established in like the late 50s. So it's full of like really killer stuff from all the way dating back to like the 20s and 30s and broken down cars and old hearses and that kind of things and tea buckets and all. And it's just a great venue for that kind of thing. And dotted all throughout the entire junkyard, there are just some amazing hot rods and shit, man. They even had a helicopter there when I was there. It was pretty insane. Had the pumpkin chunking. The massive cannon that shoots the fucking pumpkins, and they were blasting these fucking old cars with them and destroying
Nice.
them. Really cool. The hearse club was there from Philadelphia. They've got
that's cool.
a club, and they all collect hearses. And what else? Part of what I was saying earlier was in Philadelphia, they've got a big cemetery there that a private company took over in the 70s, Laurel Hill Cemetery. And it's a beautiful cemetery with some of the greatest architecture ever. And they have live bands that they let play there on the grounds. So they have bands literally like around all the tombstones and stuff. And one of the big bands that plays there a lot is Dead Milkmen.
Wow.
And seeing those guys play in front of like a mausoleum is super fucking cool, you know. But like a side note to the car show, it was pretty fucking amazing. It's like an annual event. And it was a nice day. Last year, they called for rain, so it wasn't as big. A lot of people figured it was going to rain, so they didn't show up. But this year, it was no rain and 77, so it was completely fucking packed. I left 7 o'clock in the morning, and I still ended up waiting in traffic about 45 minutes just to get a parking spot. And
Did you take any videos?
Yeah. I did. I took a lot of photos, and what I did last year was I took a lot of photos and I made like a slideshow and put some music behind it. So I still got to make a little time so I can put that video up.
Nice.
But yeah, it's the one from last year is up on my channel already, and the people from Fleming's Pumpkin Run actually took it and put it on their website. So
Oh,
a
cool.
lot of interest in that kind of thing. So. It's like an annual thing, and I look forward to it every year. And there was about 4 years where it didn't happen, and COVID came, and that didn't happen either. And like the patriarch of the entire thing kind of passed away a couple weeks before the last event, so it was kind of a bummer. But just a great place to go, and an awesome vibe, and a lot of people selling parts and vendors there, and a lot of good food, and music. You would have loved it, John. There was some rockabilly bands playing there. They had like some live bands
Cool.
playing.
I was about to say it'd be cool to see some like rockabilly or psychobilly
Yeah,
bands playing
yeah.
in
There was
in
some
the graveyard.
some great fucking music and just all kinds of great stuff from tractors to helicopters to
The Mummies.
horses and what?
Were the Mummies there?
No, the Mummies weren't there. No, there were some
Because they used to
coffins
tour
and
in
like
a,
there
they
were
used
some
to tour in a
hearses.
hearse.
I mean, that band
there
doesn't exist
maybe in the back of the
anymore,
hearse
right?
there might have been some mummies,
Yeah.
but not the literal band was there. But
See the
yeah. Thanks for
necromantics
asking,
in the
John. It was pretty
graveyard.
great, man. I'm hoping
Yeah.
to get some time to edit a video together and put it back up again. as
It's
soon as I
cool
get it
having
done.
the rockabilly bands play the car shows, but I hated playing car shows, and you'd always get asked, and like playing outside, like anything outside, outdoors sounds like shit. It's the daytime,
Yeah.
and like you're playing and you're trying to be wild, and like people walking by with their kids, like, oh, there's the band, and they just keep on. You're like, you want to
Yeah.
get something going. It's really tough.
It's actually real popular in Phoenix because of it. I mean, Phoenix has a huge rockabilly and psychobilly scene. So, like Calabrese, I've seen them like 4 times, always at car shows. And yeah, it's like 105 degrees out, and they're out there, you know, their product running down their face, you know, because they got their big old fucking hair.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
As a
I mean,
YouTuber,
they
I would
show
do
their
car
hair
shows
on
and film them and stuff, and then I would get like, oh crap, I'm gonna get a copyright strike because the band's played here.
There's a band coming up in Phoenix. They've been coming up the last 4 years. Really young band. They're called the Joeys. You ever heard of them? Rockabilly.
No,
I like
Check
rock.
them out. They're on YouTube. I don't think they put out any like
Can't find it.
vinyl material or something like. But they're always releasing.
Vinyl
Really?
material.
It's
Yeah.
funny being here in Atlanta now because I still go to the rockabilly and psychobilly shows when they come through, and it's always little tiny venues with like 25, 30 people, whereas in Phoenix they would be selling out, you know, like 500-600 people every single show. So it's
Yeah, it
funny
was-
seeing those same exact bands and nobody there.
Yeah, it's
Here in
very
Seattle
regional.
area, too. There'd be rockabilly's pretty big here. I mean,
Where are you out of, Russ?
I'm in Everett. I'm just north of Seattle, about
Okay.
20.
I'm in Bothell.
Oh, cool. Hey, man, we'll have to hang out sometime.
Yeah, the rockabilly was in
Suck your
pockets.
chin.
You could only go to so many cities. Like,
Yeah.
and there was.
Yeah.
I know I've never been to Philadelphia. There was nothing happening in Philadelphia, but and this was more the '90s, early 2000s. You know, kind of faded down nowadays. But
No offense, Sean.
No, John, you're
No
going
offense.
to see. You going to see what? Merciful Fate?
I'm seeing Bulldozer. I think on the night of
Oh.
Hydra, Saturday.
Dude,
Italian,
Bulldozer.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
With-
And then
with,
Merciful Fate
Deceased,
creator on.
Deceased and fucking. I can't think of who else is playing that show, dude. Oh man.
Yeah, there's 3 other bands. The Deceased is definitely one of them.
I mean,
I
I only
missed
really
the
care about
show,
Bulldozer,
John. They
but-
just came through Philadelphia, but I just missed them. It was like
No,
in the
I
middle
can't.
of the fucking week, man.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
are they
I don't
doing-
know how it should be interesting. You know, I don't know how
he
great
doing
it'll
just
be.
the Deceased, or is he doing October 31 too?
It just says Deceased on the.
Yeah, it's-
I only saw the name.
Last time he came through, he did both here in
I
Atlanta.
think
It was
it's
pretty
just
cool.
Deceased.
I don't think so.
I'm going to see COC, High on Fire, Pentagram,
Oh yeah, high on
Mothership.
fire, man.
all on Saturday. It's an all day, like from 1 to 11, all just killer bands.
What is that, like a metal fest? We had
Yeah,
one of those come through here. It was like a metal beer fest kind
No,
of
they're
thing.
calling it
was
like
a
fire.
big
It's
event.
one of the local venues. About twice a year, they'll
Check
do
out-
an all day event.
Check out Russ's pillow there, man. Make it big.
It's got the Maxell
That's
pillow.
killer, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, can you hear it? Yeah, High on Fire is a band that I've always wanted to see. I got to see Sleep, but I've never gotten to see High on Fire. And they're one of
And
my
you've seen
favorite
Pentagram a
fucking
few
bands.
times, or a bit.
Yeah,
'cause
Pentagram.
they're
What
from
sucks
your
is
area.
Victor's not in the band anymore. They're so much better with him playing guitar. That guy's amazing.
But did
And,
you ever
what's
see?
the drummer's name, Steve? That just bailed out. Who's the
For which
original
band?
drummer?
For
I
which
can't remember.
band?
For High on Fire.
I'm not a big High on Fire fan. I've got a bunch of their albums, and when I listen to them, I like them. It's just not a band I pull out all the time. It's the same with Mastodon. They're both huge here because they're local bands, you know. And
Yeah.
I've met the guys from Mastodon like 6 times, but I just don't pull. I never in the mood to just pull their stuff out and listen to it, you know.
I love Matt Pike because it's such a yin and yang thing. You got Sleep, and then you've got High on Fire. It's just
Yeah.
it's so A and B. That's what I fucking love so much.
And they're
about it.
great live. Like I said, I when I see them and when I hear it, I'll sit there and listen to it. I don't know, when I want to listen to that kind of music, there's other bands I pull out, you know.
I liked Asbestos Death better than Sleep and High on Fire. So, which that was Pike's first band. Was Randy Eaton? You had some fucking goobers over there.
Deluxe.
Are you just eating one at a time? Just one little peanut?
Yeah, because he's like
I
cherry
start
picking the
with
good nuts out. He saves all
I
the
do.
bad nuts for last.
I do. I eat the pecans first, and then I go to the pistachios, then the cashews, and then when I get to the almonds, it goes in the garbage, man.
They're so dry, those fucking almonds, man.
Yeah. Unless you have these. These are good, man. The smokehouse,
Smokehouse are good,
Blue
man.
Diamonds.
He used to sell those in the bar. I'd
Do
get a
you,
bunch of those
Randy,
in
do
the
you
bar.
keep that in a drawer near your bed?
Yeah. I only eat them when I'm in here, man.
Multiple tiers.
I love that he just doesn't care. He's just chewing those fucking nuts like hell, man.
Hey, Boingo, that was another thing I liked about living in Phoenix is the Rockabilly Festival in Vegas every year. They have that big 3
What's
day.
up, Cliff?
It's
Sorry.
amazing with what is it? All the what do they call the burlesque dancers and the bands?
Yeah, I actually played that. I headlined the first one and the fifth or fourth one, so I was very
Okay.
lucky. You know, I played with like I think it was the Cadillacs. You know, like
Yeah.
big bands. You know,
Yeah, I saw the last one I went to. It was like was it the Meteors that headlined it?
yeah, I'm a little out of the loop, but the medias are kind of
No,
interesting
this is in the '90s. Last time I went to it, so it was like them. And
I
Tiger
couldn't.
Rock.
The medias definitely didn't play. They were very
No.
authentic band. It was all like traditional rockabilly. They wouldn't have the medias.
Who are you seeing, John, on Saturday again?
No, it's a different one that I'm thinking of.
Bulldozer.
The one I'm
They
thinking
were,
of is all psychobilly bands. Oh, maybe it wasn't. Yeah. Was it Viva Las
Bulldozer.
Vegas, right?
Bulldozer were the Italian Motorhead meets Venom from the '80s, and they were just
Oh, look at that cover.
yeah,
It's
they're
fucking
great. But I mean, it's really good. But it's like Italian, and
I wonder if they like Coven. That's got kind of a Coven.
yeah, no, but they
vibe.
have that because it's Italian. They have that Death SS Goblin, that whole like satanic kind of thing. And the singer nowadays, they were like a trio, like Motorhead, but he sings in front of an altar now. Like he's older, he's got a backup band, and they were just like look at these guys. Like they kind of look like Motorhead, but with
Oh yeah.
You gotta love.
guy
You
dressed
gotta
like
love
a
the
half
priest.
shirt.
You gotta love the belly shirt, man. Like,
You
yeah, it looks like Filthy Phil Taylor, you know.
Only thing you could top that would be a half shirt made of net, the netting, where the
Like
nipple
Andy.
just kind of finds
Yeah,
its way
you
through,
know that's the drummer though, Aaron. Make fun of me you want. Yeah, that's the drummer.
I can say I've never been caught wearing a half shirt.
No,
with
but
netting.
you know it's the drummer. Just like
When I
Filthy
saw
Phil and Motorhead
Danzig
would
the
wear
first
that.
time, he was wearing the netting shirt. I think his was a full shirt, but he was wearing the net shirt on stage.
Yeah, they did that when I saw Sam Hain. Like I think even
Yeah.
Todd Youth had to wear the netting.
Yeah, that was just him. Like John Christ was wearing just normal clothes, but yeah, the netting shirts.
Yeah.
Need to add that to
Those
your show,
times are
John.
over.
The netting.
Yeah.
My favorite is the I don't know the jumper. You know, like the mechanic like one piece outfit. I love that. Like, cause I mean, I would never wear it, but I mean, I love seeing the pictures of the '80s. Like Paul Di'Anno would wear it. Eddie Van Halen, Sting would wear it, and you'd see that a lot of heavy metal bands would have like the one piece thing. And every time I see one, I just get a big chuckle. Like no one does that anymore.
Yeah,
Bring it
Sean
back,
was
John.
going to wear
Bring it
that
back.
tonight. I told him, don't you dare wear a jumper to this fucking show, Sean.
But anytime I see a photo of that, I think Gary Moore wore one. Yeah,
I think
if Sean
Sean
had
was going
wanted
to
to
wear
wear a
his
jumper, he would've
ab
worn a
shirt
jumper.
tonight. He's going to wear his he's going to wear like a low cut kind of button down thing where you could see his fucking. He's got like an 8-pack. I don't know if you guys know Sean is. Dude's fucking ripped. He was going to do his Man of War theme, regalia.
Oh, my
Joey
favorite.
DeMaio style.
Loincloth.
Joey DeMeo.
The cod piece with the saw blade.
May your swords always be wet.
I pulled out Cameo not too long ago, and my wife was looking at that album cover. She's like, "What the fuck is that he's wearing on his dick?" He had that big old cod piece that he wore.
Is it bird is the word?
No, it was Word Up.
Word up. That's what I meant.
Bird is the word.
Bird is the
that was
word.
Bird is the word. Word up.
You're
You know.
close.
Wasn't it Fishbone that covered
Same
that?
neighborhood. Same neighborhood. Topically.
Talk about a band that changed their. I mean, they were a really killer funk band, and then they put out Word Up and just kind of destroyed all credibility that they had in the scene from that point on.
There's a great German band from the mid 2000s called Boss Haas, and they were like, I don't know, like a modern, like they're obviously from other bands. It's almost a joke. Well, it is kind of a joke band, but they got kind of big in Germany. But they're like a modern country sound where the two vocalists trade off, and they do a cover of Word Up, like modern country rockabilly style. It's and like overproduced and with the low voices, like Word Up, and it's like Garth Brooks style. It's fantastic.
Have you ever heard Hayseed Dixie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got that AC/DC album that's pretty good.
Used to be on the jukebox at this place out here called Best Cafe, and it got played a lot.
Yeah.
This microphone thing is a trip. I feel like we're at an award show.
Fred, the Big Bill Brunzi, the Lead Belly might be the earliest version that I know. Rock Island Line. It's a good tune.
I don't know what it is, what country singers do in the pop songs. I have a friend that's a songwriter in Nashville, and she does "Hey Ya" from the Outcast, and she does a country version of it every show she does.
Weird.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad, but yeah, every country artist I know that tours has one song like that, like one rock or rap song that they have to turn into a country song and fuck it up.
I seen this record at the store today, and I looked at it. It's beat, you know. It's got like water damage. It's all rippled, and
I can't tell what it is.
It's called Crazy Batty and Gone. It's like rockabilly.
Huh.
It's a comp, but I look down here. It says Curtis Long and the Rhythm Rockers, right? So I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, that looks like.
Who is it in the Rhythm Rockers? I didn't hear you. Sorry. Say it again.
Long.
Well,
oh,
I don't know. It just says that band down here, but
is that a Collector Records? Let me see the cover. I don't know that one.
It's on Olympic Records.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Anyway, it looked like it was. I mean, it's old. It's like stained and all that stuff. So I picked it up for $6, and I'm like, eh. And even the vinyl's not the greatest. It's a little bit beat, but so I brought it home and I looked it up on Discogs, and it's a comp from 1980, man.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I was thinking it was a Collector Records. Yeah,
this thing is beat to shit. It's split. I thought, man, this is probably worth some money. You know, I got.
Yeah, no, the originals wouldn't look like that. Yeah, it's definitely was a comp. I thought it was a Collector Records or white label.
Randy got fooled again.
It's still 42
Yeah, but the
years
funny
old.
thing is, Curtis Long and the Rhythm Rockers, they're not even on it. They're not even on it. So
nice misrepresentation.
I got the Pirates. Found this.
I need to get that. That record's great.
They had 2 copies of this, and then this one's a promo. The other one was $2 more, and I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely around the same shit.
Yeah, I used to see that record all the time, but I never wanted it because it was like, you know, it was like 70s. I'm like, I don't want the Pirates from the 70s, but that record kicks ass.
Yeah.
I've been on a riot kick, John, since that video the other night. That's all I've been listening to the last couple of days.
What a
Riot?
I pulled all that shit out to when we were talking about it. And
Did you say Riot, Steve?
Yeah, Riot.
I had one riot. I had a Riot tape and I fucking hated it. It was
Fire Down Under. I'll say is in the top 5 best heavy metal records. Maybe
I
not
love-
counting Sabbath and Maiden. You know,
I love Fire Down Under, but I picked up. I found a tape version of was it Born in America? And oh god,
that's a good record, but that's where
get rid
it's
of that
totally
thing
different. Different singer. That's
Yeah,
their
they were
last.
kind of changing their style at that
Hang
point
on,
too.
hang on. Hold up on that car wash. Hold on.
Yeah, they got me all right.
I think you're muted, Sean. I mean, not the microphone. Your actual.
Yeah, your computer's muted.
Unless that's supposed
Can
to be.
you hear
that
me
way.
now, though?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
you're going through Aaron's side. Okay.
If I unmute this, it gets really loud.
Yeah, I understand.
So-
you're going through Aaron. Yep.
So
You're
back
still
up
a
a
little
second,
low.
John. So what would be your top 5 heavy metal bands?
I'm not saying these are the best. My favorites. Geez, I would put the Tanks' first record as one of my favorite. And this is like not counting Motorhead, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, because I'll run out. But I say Born Again by Black Sabbath because I don't count that as a Black Sabbath. Like, I'd say that. I'd say Tank, Riot, Black Sabbath. The first Spider record's really good. I don't know if it's a favorite. I don't know. I'd have to think. There's so many good ones. But
About you, Randy?
What's that? What's the question?
Top 5 heavy metal.
Oh, geez.
that's a good
I wasn't a big heavy metal guy, so
There's still time, Randy.
I just to go back, Man of War. Those Man of War records are my favorite records. Manila Road, Crystal Logic, I'd put up there.
yeah. So it's like Winger heavy metal?
Absolutely.
Not to me.
I'm just kidding.
Definitely.
Randy,
Most
all
definitely.
5 are Winger albums? Top 5?
Winger
all
doesn't even
5?
have 5 albums, do they?
That's like that'd be a top 3, I think. At
Maybe
best.
put some Striper in there, too?
Oh man.
Venom Black Metal. Oh, there's so many good ones.
Yeah, I mean that's for me. That'd be like what we'd be looking at, like Tank, Venom,
Here's
probably Warfare.
Yeah, Warfare.
That's a local band for me. I grew up with those guys.
Flotsam and Jetsam.
Flotsam and
Oh,
Jetsam.
Exodus, Bonded by Blood would definitely be in there.
Anybody?
Definitely.
Creator.
Russ, is that a top 5?
Sure.
It
Flotsam
sounded,
and Jetsam.
it sounded unsure. That sure
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
unsure.
they're all right, man. I don't know. I listened to these guys back in the day. It's some heavy shit. They did a pretty cool cover of Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. A metal
Actually,
cover.
I like
That wasn't cool.
I don't hate that cover.
Yeah.
What's your other top 5, Russ,
My other top 5?
for heavy metal?
Heavy metal.
There's a lot. There's just a lot. I grew up with a lot of that metal, Metallica, when Metallica came out. And, you had all these glam bands that came around. And it was weird. Like, I liked David Bowie back then, but I wasn't, like, supposed to because it wasn't, like, manly or something, We called a fag if you like David Bowie.
Yeah, I was same boat. I like Bowie too.
And then Motley Crue came out, and then that was, like, just kind of fried everybody's mind. So everybody had to kind of back up a little bit. Pretty funny. What if Vince Neil say, "Yeah, we wear makeup and dress like chicks, and we'll still kick your ass"? Like, yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I went to a lot of metal shows. I barely remember the '80s. I was surprised I survived it, to be honest. I remember Queensryche. I remember seeing Queensryche back in the day. I remember seeing Metallica at the Moore Theater.
Are you from the Seattle area?
Yeah, I live in Everett. I'm just north of
Well,
Seattle.
yeah, you said you lived in Everett, but I mean, like, you've been out here for a while?
Yeah, I was born here, man. I lived in
Okay.
Alaska for a few years.
Gotcha. Yeah, I grew up in Redmond, Kirkland, and then
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I lived in Vegas for 4 years and then moved back.
I lived in Alaska when I was 13 till about 15 and then moved back here because they were trying to fix me, and I didn't know so I came back and I was trying to get straight on a military base in the Aleutian Islands. I came back here and just got right back into the madness. So that was cool. It was like the first couple weeks that a friend of mine that I just met, we went to the Moore Theater, saw Metallica. That was Ride the Lightning. And that music wasn't popular back then, Like people see Metallica filling stadiums. And this This is the Moore Theater. It's not a huge venue.
Yeah, that didn't happen until the 90s, really.
Yeah, even during Master of Puppets, they were not huge. It was, you know, you're talking thousands, not.
It wasn't until
you know,
the Black
tens of
Album.
thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Metallica was big, and it was, you know, it was. I think of Tad too, you know, as Tad came up, it was that sort of wearing flannel, and it was like doodly fucking, almost like tractor punk. But Metallica was its own thing. Metallica was very metal.
You still see Tad at shows these days, which is awesome because the fact that he's still involved and still like doing music is just killer. But
Tad
the fact that it's like still like worthwhile music, where it's like his stuff he's producing, or Brothers of the Sonic Cloth, or master musicians of Bukkake.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, you ever run across Gits albums out there?
Who?
The Gits.
No.
I've been trying to find those albums for like 6 fucking years.
I had all that shit when I was younger, and you know, had a drug habit that all that shit got sold for. So I have some Dancing French Liberals of 48 stuff, but no Gits, not on vinyl anyway. You see the CDs every now and then, but not
even
not
the CDs when I see them are like $30 fucking.
Yeah. I was trying to find a CD just recently, and just did a huge. I was at down there, big warehouse, basically Silver Platters in South Seattle. I mean,
DeSoto location.
Have every CD you can think of. No
That
Gits.
Yeah.
I can't believe nobody's done
it's funny. I was just watching Shaun's video on the third 7-year bitch, or the second 7-year bitch record. Viva Zapata. I just watched that video from Shaun earlier today, and I got super nostalgic because it just took me back to that whole time. And like the fact that like one of the things that I love being from here is that like regardless of how drastically different a lot of the scenes was how all of those scenes came together when Mia got killed, and just seeing the unity and the fellowship between like crusty punks and like pop punks and like indie kids and freaking, you know, like hip hop kids. Like it was all affecting all of Seattle. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they were a band that the Gits really crossed over too. I mean, I was more a metal guy at that time, and that I got introduced to them by another metal guy at that time. So
I never heard of the Gits.
Oh man,
oh man, dude.
Yeah.
So I want to say didn't they do like or didn't they re-record Frenching the Bully with Joan Jett on vocals?
Yeah. I don't know if they released it, but yeah, they did for that documentary that she did.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought. But they did the whole album, if I'm not mistaken.
They sold went to her family or something.
Yeah.
There was a band, Head. Do you know that band, Head? I think they're from Seattle. I definitely played
Seattle. Or HED.
HEAD. They were like a Ramones style band. I guess like probably late 80s, early 90s, but they were still around.
I don't know. There are so many bands from here that it was just so hard to keep track of like everybody.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because you had bands coming out to Seattle from like Yakima, Washington, Spokane, Washington, Boise, Idaho. We're all coming to Seattle like back in the day. So it was just like every week there was like 20 new bands that you had to like pay attention to.
Well, and a lot of
Bikini Kill is still out there touring too.
I mean, Kim Thayil was playing on like 4 different side bands other than Sound.
Yeah, that dude's fucking cool as shit though, man. I've met him a few times, and he's always a riot, dude. Like super humble and just nice and like genuine.
Did you watch that interview that Rick Beato did with him like a month ago?
No.
It's really good. It's him and Chris Novoselic and one of the other guys from, I don't remember who the third guy was, but they were just talking about growing up in that scene and how the bands came about. What tripped me out though was Chris. I didn't realize that Chris wasn't the lead singer of Soundgarden. He started out as the drummer. And they go into that whole story. It's really good. It's like an 1.5 hour long interview. Worth checking out.
Yeah, they've been around since the 80s, you know, like freaking 86, 87.
No,
started-
all of those bands were though. I mean,
Yeah.
Alice in Chains was the mid '80s when they got together. Soundgarden.
Alice in Chains' first show was at Skate King Roller Rink in Renton, Washington.
Yeah, there was
Steve,
a bunch of bands that came
Steve,
through.
were you? I was pretty surprised to see that Chris was actually a drummer in the band.
Yeah, no, that
Who was it?
and then he wanted to stay the drummer. He didn't want to be the singer.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder what's out there where you can hear him playing drums. Like
I don't think he said if anything was released, but I guess they kind of forced him to be the singer.
Yeah, he didn't want
Shaun!
to sing. He didn't want to be a singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ted, did you? I saw that at Daybreak on the wall the other day.
I just bought it, dude.
Off the wall at Daybreak.
I did buy it off the wall at Daybreak. I couldn't. I was like going back and forth about it.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, I
I
got
saw that. Was that last night? I saw that at Daybreak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
Wait
record.
a minute. Hey, Russ, wait a minute, man. I thought you were supposed to buy that for Shaun. What are you going to keep it now?
Right.
Shaun sent me that picture the other day. He said, hey, my buddy Russ found this on the wall. He's going to pick it up for me. I was like, wow, what a cool guy this fucking Russ dude
See
is.
that? I was probably said 75, and I'm like, no, dude, he's not going to go down on that, man. He's not going to come down to 75. I know the guy that owns the store down there, RJ, and
RJ's good people, man.
yeah, he is good people.
Yeah.
He'll let stuff sit on the wall forever. Lets it go down.
He's had that Mike Patton Lovage record up there for like 2 months now, pushing a month or two at this point.
I bought a Doors, like a first issue of the Morrison Hotel. It sat up there for months, and he finally marked
Rightfully
it
so.
Oh, man.
He finally marked it down. I grabbed it.
I was surprised to see that Faith No More is touring again. They're finally back after Mike Patton had some mental issues going on for a while. They're back touring again.
Who?
Faith No More.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, finally.
What was it? He acted with Mr. Bungle like last year or the year before or something like that?
Yeah, he did kind of sporadic shows, and then he laid low for a little while, and they were kind of vague about what was going on with him, but mental health.
Mike Patton has mental health problems?
Yeah, you'd never guess, right?
He's got to be
the fucking guy's as solid as they come,
band
right?
that he has. Every different band he has some different weird ass fucking personality.
Thomas and shit like that. And
No, my favorite is the shit where he's with Tomahawk with the dude from Jesus Lizard, where he's wearing the weird like fucking.
He's got the gas mask
apparatus.
on, yeah, with the fucking microphone built into it. Yeah. Yeah, I knew the dude was sick when he was in front of about 20,000 people, and in the middle of a Faith No More song, he told everybody shh, and put the mic up to his ass and busted ass right into the microphone. We got a special kind of guy here, man.
Sounds like me.
Randy will just eat nuts live on stage and just fart into the microphone. Shh, quiet, shh. The last I saw Faith No More, the last time I saw him was in Philadelphia at the Mann Center, and they were all dressed in white suits. It was really fucking weird, man. It's weird to see them kind of do this weird Carlos Santana, John McLaughlin kind of thing. It was strange.
I'm out. Yeah.
It's just really fucking weird, man.
If you're an artist, you have to have something. I mean, if you're a really good artist, you have to have some kind of mental health thing going on,
You think
There's
he's got
something
that in spades,
diagnosable,
man.
Are you not a Santana fan, John?
No.
You don't like the Doors or Santana.
I like how you pause. You're like,
no. That's
I joke about
effect.
the Doors. I mean, the Doors have some decent stuff, but it's carnival music to my ears.
no, I don't care.
What is it about the Doors you don't like?
Well, I'll tell you exactly. I think Jim Morrison, he seems like a cool guy, but I think he's a bit overrated. And I cannot stand Robbie Krieger as a guitar player. I think he's like noodling. It's like Jerry Garcia shit. No power chords, no energy. And John Densmore I don't even think he's a rock and roller. I think he just joined up with them. I like I just don't think I'd want to hang out with them. If I saw them in the bar, I think I'd be laughing at them, with the exception of Jim Morrison. He might be cool to hang out with. But
Have you ever heard that Hendrix bootleg where he's playing in the Village and Jim Morrison's all fucked up and comes and takes the mic and starts
Fucker in
singing
the ass.
Fuck Me in the ass. Yeah.
I actually have that.
Jim
It's like a
seems like-
double CD, man. It's him screaming "fucker in the ass" for
Dude, that's
25 minutes.
That's such a great album.
but it's like he seems like this wild rock and roll guy, and then you put it on, and half the time it's carnival music. Do 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 do, like come on now, touch me, babe. Like it's just awful.
So is DJH Record Hound talking about the Faith No More version of Easy Like Sunday Morning right now? The Commodores track?
Yeah, that Commodores tune, yeah. Who do you think did the better version?
Faith No More.
Faith
No,
No More?
I'd say they're on equal footing, really. Like
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the kind of song Typo covered. What was the one Typo covered? Summer Breeze?
So Summer Breeze, Cinnamon Girl. They covered a few songs.
Typo did Cinnamon Girl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cinnamon Girl's a good tune, but Summer
Thank God I
Breeze,
missed
geez.
that one.
When I saw Typo
Have you
Negative
heard the
live,
Typo version, John?
No.
I
That
saw-
can't be good.
I guess
saw
if you're gonna
Typo,
take, it's kind of like Judas Priest doing Joan Baez. You know what I mean? If you're gonna take the piss out of it, I'm good with it. I'm good.
when I saw Typo Negative, they played Summer Breeze, and the people were booing the shit
Yeah.
out of it. It was at the old Key Arena,
I couldn't believe when they released that one.
and Peter Steele's like, "The more you boo, the slower we play."
That's awesome. Oh,
And they were supposed to open up for what was supposed to be Typo opening, then Danzig, and then Godflesh was supposed to headline. But Godflesh tried coming in from Vancouver, Canada, with a bunch of weed in their van, and they got turned around at the border. So they had to cancel. So it's just Typo and Danzig, and they came up and announced that Godflesh wouldn't be playing. That was when Typo started getting booed like the most, and they were just like, "We got more time to play slower." It was
Yeah.
just
That's the same
amazing.
thing we ended up doing when Typo opened for Death. When I was talking about that story earlier, was
that's a weird mix.
Pete Steele had that stand-up bass with a giant chain on it, and he was wearing it like a normal bass. And he was fucking playing it. And we were just booing the fuck out of this ham bone, man. It was the funniest thing ever. But a totally different mindset back then, It was always black and white back in the day, If you weren't heavy or metal, you were shit, and if you weren't,
He was a
this,
weird
you were
dude,
that
though,
kind of thing.
Pete Steele. I mean, he went from hardcore to carnivore into Typo.
When he was on these, like if you listen to that first Whiplash record, he's like in the background on that doing vocals for like the gang vocals on that first Power and Pain by Whiplash. Yeah, and he wrote an Agnostic Front track or two.
What did he?
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
he wrote Social Security, the sketchiest of all Agnostic Front.
Oh yeah, was that the second album?
Yeah,
Was that-
well, Cause for Alarm.
Cause for Alarm. Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have that,
yeah.
yep. I remember the song. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
love
like to
Cause
go
for Alarm.
back to your Doors discussion.
Yep.
Oh,
So I grew up loving the Doors, and they were a big band for me in the 80s. And I mean, I would listen on cassette in the driveway, sitting on the concrete, and everywhere. But it's a jazz band. John Densmore is a jazz drummer. Robbie Krieger was a classically trained flamenco guitar player. He finger picks.
Yes.
And
let me
then Ray.
let me just put a caveat. I know I'm the weirdo, and I do this for
No.
shock value and for my personality, but like, so you take me with a grain of salt. Put put that
the
in.
shock value was a couple weeks ago when the Clash was a disco band. That was the shock value. Of the
Yeah,
year.
that wasn't me.
No, that wasn't you. That was the shock value of the year. One of
No.
the best disco bands in the world, the Clash.
Wait, who said that?
A couple weeks ago on. a
Was that
different show.
John?
No, was he? He might have been an English
Yeah.
person. I
No,
can't
it was
remember
a
who it was.
guest of.
Oh yeah, it was a guest
Yeah.
of Pilmer or Ryan
Oh,
Kidd.
well, yeah, if it was a Pilmer
Yeah.
guest, that
Yeah,
explains
and he
everything.
went on and on that if it's just a disco band and it sounds like disco in his head. And I went,
Is he not thinking like Big Audio
so-
Dynamite maybe instead of the Clash?
So the Doors, though, there's a massive difference of who wrote the songs. Like the songs you said right away, those are all Robbie Krieger songs. And Robbie Krieger had more of the hit songs. Like the songs I always went towards were Morrison songs. They're very bizarre and the lyrics are different. Like Robbie was like verse, chorus, verse, and just really catchy. So it's really interesting how there's just such two different versions of the band and that they somehow coexisted. Now,
Yeah,
believe it or not,
I just
like,
remember being a kid, and like it was always like when you're a little kid, you know, like oh Zeppelin's the best, the Who, the Doors, you know, you name your five big classic rock bands, and so I had the Doors' greatest hits, and I remember getting one of those VHSs of the live show. I'm like, this is the most boringest band I've ever seen in my life, and like they were terrible, and then like I don't know, like you're into classic rock and you listen to these guitar solos of Krieger and they just aggravate me. You know, he just, you know, besides like L.A. Woman or Roadhouse Blues, and there's about 5 or 6 that are maybe rockers, but I'm like, I think of like a practice space. You ever go to like, you know, the buildings where we would practice and every door is like a different band in there, and you'd be opening a door, and if like you saw the Doors, you'd shut that door and go to the next one. Could be the Kingsmen doing Louie Louie. And you're like, I'm going in that room, or there's Metallica in that room. But the Doors, you'd shut that door pretty quick.
That's what I find kind of amazing, like when they got signed, because I don't feel as though they would have gotten signed today. And I think that's part of what Electro was doing. Like they're signing them, they signed the Stooges. Around the
But
same
you
time
got to
they
remember
signed
the
MC5.
Seeds were the big band in L.A. and the Seeds had the keyboard. They had the wacky Sky Saxon, you know, this like acid head guy, and you know, so it was already kind of pre-established that template of keyboard, kind of 60s-ish guitar, like psychedelic guitar, you know, and then like groove thing. So, you know, they came from that, and then he had the black leather because of Gene Vincent. You know, I don't know.
So what are your thoughts on the Grateful Dead?
I like the
Let's go.
scene. I like the idea. I've seen them, and my friends turned into Deadheads, so I participated. I listened to all the
The
tapes.
shows are cool. The show, go and
But-
see them. That whole atmosphere being there is really cool.
But there's a couple of songs where Pigpen sung, and a couple of like there were covers where they actually played power chords, and like they could be all right. But man, it's just Snoozeville to me. Out of tune, just noodling guitar. Like I'd rather hear the Ramones or Louie Louie, but that's me personally. So I can't really blame the band.
I
because of
barely
that.
remember the music when I saw him. It was more about the party and getting wasted. And
Oh, but you need to hear "Help Slip Frank." You know the "Help Slip Frank" from 1978 in Philadelphia. You know,
oh yeah, I had the friend that had the whole wall, literally a whole wall. full of
Black
live
Star
shows
Denver
and-
'72. You know.
I'll take the Dead over Fish or fucking Blues Traveler any day.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, they were the second-rate copies.
I have a friend who her
did like
dad. Her dad was a roadie for the Grateful Dead, and the Stones when the Stones came to town. He didn't go to Europe with them because I guess they just like would just grab anybody. Hey, you can drive a truck, and I guess that's how they did most of Europe, which is funny. But yeah, he's like 80 something now, and he's starting to kind of lose it. I'm trying to get him on the show. I'd love to do an interview with him if I can catch him on a day when he's real lucid. But you know, he's an older dude. He has a bunch of stories and stuff, and hanging out with Jerry Garcia in a tent, just him, noodling on the guitar, practicing. And I'm like, wow. He gave out tickets. He would just give out handfuls of tickets to people that were just hanging around outside.
The buddy I went to the show with, his whole family, like he grew up on the road with his mom followed the Dead. So as a kid, like he grew up going to the shows and being part of that scene and stuff. So, But yeah, he was one of those guys that the tape collectors, and I think that's how his mom made money. She would dub the tapes and like sell them in the parking lot and shit.
Oh wow!
And that's how they would pay for their gas to go to the next show. But yeah, I mean, straight up VW bus, everything, hardcore.
My friends got into that. Like luckily I moved away, but they were all over the country. And like, oh my god, you used to be a skinhead. What happened to you? Like,
I remember when rockabilly became popularized by the Stray Cats in the '80s. which was interesting. When it was,
I don't know if rockabilly did. They became popular, but I don't know if rockabilly ever did.
And then the other really good rockabilly bands, I mean, their records are still like $3 now.
But like, when I think of the Stray Cats, I don't think of good rockabilly. Like
Yeah, when we were in the rockabilly in the '90s, you couldn't even mention the Stray Cats. You'd be ostracized. You know, they're like they're almost a new wave band. You know, obviously they're playing rockabilly, but
Yeah,
I
they
put them
sounded
more
more
in with the B-52s than I
more
would
like-
with Johnny
Yeah.
Burnett.
more like that early Adam and the Ants stuff than like
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it brought
in
it
the
to
in the
mainstream,
'90s,
though.
Brian Setzer was doing '40s music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Sean.
No, I just said it brought it to the mainstream.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it did. It brought the music to the forefront. A lot of people didn't.
Yeah,
know
I
it
mean,
existed.
it was massive influence on me when that first record came out. I was in 6th grade, and I would try to comb my hair. I mean, obviously, it changed my life, but you know, I don't know what it did for rockabilly. You know, it certainly turned a lot of kids onto it, I guess. So, because everyone in the rockabilly scene obviously
Yeah, it turned
started
me in.
with the Stray Cats.
I was into cars too, so rock and roll in cars, and you know, it was that kind of thing. It wasn't the fucking Beach Boys,
Yeah.
right? I just picked
That's
up
what I love about rockabilly. You combine vintage equipment, you know, gear, cars, everything, clothes. It was all mixed.
Speaking of Daybreak, I just picked up this one too for $3.
Yeah.
Daybreak and Rave. They had it at Barnes and Noble for like $30 on Coca-Cola caramel. You know, clear
MOV did that
Well,
double. MOV
clearly
did
the
that
version
double
to
live
get.
set from '81 and '83. That's really good. Of the Stray Cats there.
Yeah.
They're a great live band. If you ever see that Us Festival footage of them, they're just a trio, 2 little amps, and they rock as good as any of the bands.
Yeah.
You know, they'll give Scorpions a run for their money, and it's just a trio.
They were Green Day.
Yeah.
Rockabilly Green Day.
I was so glad when Green Day disappeared off the radio. Then they fucking blew up again like 5 years later. Wanted to fucking myself. I got so sick of them in the '90s, and they finally kind of disappeared into obscurity. And then they put out that fucking pop album. My daughter's band plays it at school.
American Idiot.
Yeah, one of the songs off of there. Yeah. Oh, it drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, that was.
Are we going to talk about Green Day now?
There we go.
That was a bad era.
I like Green Day. I like Green Day because it was punk that they were successful. And all the punks started hating them because they were successful.
Okay, you have a good night now, Russ.
Some of their stories interesting. You know?
That was the
Yeah,
era
Russ.
when I was getting into like original punk and like the business of having reunions, like all these original '70s bands. And meanwhile, like Green Day is playing like the arenas. It was like two different worlds.
Weird.
I don't mind like what they were doing before Green Day, like as far as that goes. But like even like the early Green Day stuff, just I mean I think at that point I was a little bit too deeply entrenched into like actual underground music to appreciate what Green Day were doing at the time. But yeah,
Even that era, I mean, Rancid was putting out better music than they were. There were bands that were putting out much better music in that time frame.
Yeah.
They were just the ones that blew up, though.
I saw the Dickies, and
Actually,
the great quote was, he goes, anyone like Rancid or something? Like, he goes, I remember Rancid when they were called The Clash.
I mean not wrong.
Yeah. See that? Everybody's influenced by somebody, all right? Just
I think Operation Ivy would talk about the Clash being their influence. I mean, they were.
I like Operation
They were
Ivy.
straight up about it.
I remember when they interviewed Johnny Ramone on Green Day, and he's like, so what do you think about Green Day? And he's like, well, it's nothing that's ever been done before. And then he went on to the next question.
I think the best story I heard of Green Day, they were doing like the Download Festival last year, the year before, or maybe it was right before COVID, and they cut off their mic because they were going too long because Usher or somebody was coming on next, and he threw like a temper tantrum and started cussing out how are you going to cut the mic on us? We've been around for 25 years for this new punk, and it turns out Usher's first album was like 2 years before theirs.
Man.
I think the biggest temper tantrum I saw was Mike Watt, though. I might have told this story on one of your videos here, but we saw Mike Watt. His band opened up for Primus in like 94, 94, whenever Tales from the Punch Bowl came out. It was in Mesa Amphitheater in Phoenix, and Mike Watt came on with 2 drummers, and the drummers were out of sync, and the whole sound just sounded like shit. It was so bad, and they got booed. They got booed off stage, and Mike Watt came back out, and he's talking about how he's an old school punk and he's going to fuck up everybody in the crowd. And he actually jumped up into the crowd, and security had to pull him off of the people in the front couple of rows there.
Did you buy that 45 that Stooges tribute he did? 1969, and
I don't think I've seen that. He's done a lot of stuff though.
He
Man.
just guested on a record by this band called the Cutthroat Brothers, which is Donnie Paycheck from Zeke and some dude from LA. They're both they're both barbers, so they have this whole barber shtick, and they put out a record last year and the year before that with Mike Watt on bass. They didn't have a bass player before on their previous albums.
He pops up all over the place. I run across all kind of weird shit with him on it, just random stuff. He's kind of like Jello Biafra. He just pops up on all kind of different projects.
I saw a show in the mid '90s. It was for the Great Southern Trendkill, the Pantera tour when they were touring around. And going back to what Steve was saying about people flipping out on stage, Phil was a fucking mess. I mean, he was on heroin. He was a fucking drunk. He had 3 bottles of fucking Jack Daniels on the stage. He told more stories than he did actually fucking sing. And somebody said something he didn't like. And he winged a fucking bottle of fucking whiskey at him and nailed him in the fucking head and started screaming at him for about 20 fucking minutes while he pounded another fucking 5th of Jack Daniels and just went fucking insane. And people were screaming, play fucking walk, and he wasn't having any of it. He was telling stories and shit, and the Dimebag was looking at him like, please don't do this again, man.
Waters said he saw him at some show in the later in the 90s, and he was saying that Phil couldn't even get through a song. He would do like the first part and then just kind of mumble off and kind of veer away and then come back and do a couple more words.
That's exactly what I saw. Yeah, and at the time we've
seen
see what the fuck they were doing, and he just
throwing random fucks everywhere.
Yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. And Dreamboat Annie was my favorite Heart album, motherfucker. And
have you heard him talk? He can barely talk these days, man. Oh, it's so bad.
We seen
rock and roll is a tough lifestyle, man.
We seen Buddy Guy at a small venue in Ann Arbor. I think it was like the Power Center or something like that. And Buddy Guy is the same way. He just goes on, just telling stories, hardly playing any music. My buddy's like, when it's complete silence, he says, shut the fuck up and play the blues, And you should have seen the people look at him like, how dare you,
Yeah, we used to be like that with Dick Dale because he would just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Apparently, Keith Morris.
What was that story you told, John? Was that Dick Dale that you were giving shit to? And he?
Well, no, I never gave shit to him. Well, go tell the story. Let me try to remember. I don't know, but Dick Dale would talk a lot, like, and after a while, you're like, okay.
That's what I've heard about.
At you and say something. I'm not going to play any of that shit for you tonight. Was that?
No,
Dick Dale, or was that somebody else?
No, that wasn't Dick Dale. We never got mean to him. He was, he was still an idol to us.
I still kick.
Was it the Cult Show where he said he made fun of me? Maybe
Shaun just said maybe it's the Cult Show.
I don't know where Dick Dale lived at, but he did a lot of shows here in like 2000. He would do like 1 or 2 shows a year here, and I always missed him. And now I kick myself for not going to see him.
First time I saw him, he was great, and he had a little boy on the side of the stage. He had drumsticks, and he was kind of tapping the side of the stage. And as he got older, he was older, and he ended up becoming the drummer. Like
that's cool.
Through the years, but he would tell the stories, and he'd tell the same stories, but they get longer each tour. Like I taught Hendrix how to play guitar. I had the Fender amp. Me and Leo Fender invented this amp, and we blew the speakers, and I invented the heavy metal, and like the first time's okay, and then they go on and on. Like you're like it's 7 minutes, you haven't played a song,
Yeah.
He was a hit or miss kind of guy, yeah, for sure.
That's another one though. He would play a club called I can't think of the name of it. A little tiny shithole place though, and there'd be like 20 people there for his shows.
Yeah.
Did you say, John? He said he invented heavy metal.
Oh yeah, he would say that
Well,
all the time.
we all know that Marky Ramone
Yeah.
invented heavy metal in the
That's
band
true.
Dust.
That's true.
Yeah, Marky.
Maki.
In Dust.
Marky invented heavy metal. I met Dick Dale one time when I was about 12 years old. I was sitting in a restaurant, and my father said, "Turn around and look who you're sitting next to." And it just meant the world to me that it was Dick Dale. I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's Dick Dale."
Yeah, I mean, I'm joking about him now, but he was a big deal. Like I respected the guy immensely, and I was a big fan.
It's really
But we were all-
fascinating how he plays
we also-
guitar too, with like that upside down Stratocaster with all the wiring's all different. It's really
Yeah, he
fascinating.
just flips a guitar and plays it lefty. You know, with
I
the
told the-
bottom strings.
I told the story here in Ann Arbor. He played at a little place called the Blind Pig, and we have a local legend, 50s rockabilly guy. He plays 50s rock and roll and stuff like that. George Bedard and the Kingpins. Well, anyway, George was there, and that's his idol, And Dick Dale was just, kind of up on stage, just tuning up, before the show started. And all of his buddies were saying, "George, just ask him, man. You go up and play with him. I'm sure he'd let you, So he's like, "All right, I'm going to go up there, So then at that point, Dick's, he's like tuning and then warming up, and his hands are flying all over the fingerboard. And then George says, "Nah, forget it."
It's like seeing Slayer. He's like, I mean, it's fast.
Yeah.
And the strings are upside down too. They're in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this interesting tone from having them in reverse.
He's got that Middle Eastern influence. Like, very interesting guy.
Hey, you don't gotta recut the nut that way. Just flip the whole fucking thing upside down. That's probably what it was. He couldn't get the strings to fit, so he said, "Fuck it, I'll just leave it this way."
Yeah, exactly. Because Hendrix used to recut the nut and twist
Yeah.
his whammy bar, so he would.
Yeah,
twist
Johnny
it
Cash
and-
too. He'd be like, pointing neck down at the
That
ground.
blues, who's that blues guy?
Well, Albert
Shit.
King did too.
Yeah, no, he's a
King did
younger,
reverse.
one of the younger blues guys. He plays that way, with the strings reversed. But he said it was easier for him to learn it that way. What the hell was his name, man?
Elizabeth Cotton does too. Back in the day, she played in reverse.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth Cotton. You watch her play, you can't figure out what the fingers are doing.
Yeah.
Model
I
T
think I- I
Ford.
think
You guys
I read
ever
even
heard that
when
guy?
Even when Gibson started,
Oh yeah,
the left,
absolutely. Pat Possum stuff.
even when Gibson started making the left-handed guitars, all they did was flip the neck. They made the left-handed necks. The guard, everything was still upside down on the body itself.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start getting ready to leave. It's 12:30, and I've almost been up for 24 hours.
It's a long time.
So
It's only 9:30 here,
Sean,
man.
Sean, your set was excellent. Aaron, your set was excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for
Yeah,
having this
That was a
meeting
very,
together. It
very
was a-
cool, very cool episode.
Yeah, it was a nice
for sure.
surprise, or not, a nice event.
I appreciate you all letting me play. So
I'm
gonna
glad you
pass
did
it
some
back
deeper
over to
tracks
Aaron.
too. You didn't do bitchin' Camaro and sound system.
Yeah, that's a little too vanilla for what we're trying to go for.
Nothing wrong with Bitch Camaro though. That's a great.
No,
tune,
it's
man.
great.
No, I do, and Punk Rock Girl is one of my all-time favorite songs.
I
My
wish I
favorite-
had that
My
song.
favorite's the track about taking a certain type of people to the zoo.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's
I
awful.
was just gonna
Awful.
say that. I'm glad you lightened that one
Awful.
up for me, Eric. I was
Forgot
gonna
about
say the
that,
word.
yeah.
We don't want to say the word.
Awful.
How far is
Swordfish.
Sean's ride home?
What's that?
How far is Sean's ride home?
6 hours.
6
Wow.
hours.
No,
get a room,
he's,
man.
he's like 25 minutes.
Oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, there'll be no traffic.
I'm like,
he'll be
damn.
back in the big city, and he'll
And
feel
he's
better
sober.
once it's too quiet out here in the suburbs. Once Sean got here, and he's like, I can't see. There's no lights. I'm like, it's not the city. There's no fucking streetlights
Yeah,
all over.
I like it that way now. I don't want to ever go back
So
to the city.
Sean's going to get back to the city, and it's going to get noisier and noisier as he goes. He's going to feel more and more at home.
That's like Vance. Vance can't sleep without sirens.
There's got to be
Yeah.
gunshots for Vance to be able to sleep through the night. That's
Yeah, I
not
can't
nearly
do
enough
that anymore.
explosions.
Once you get used to not being around that, though, you can't go back to it.
Yeah, I could never go back to the city. People just walking by the house, the window. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, there was
I got used to living in a big ass house as opposed to a little tiny apartment for twice the price.
I was watching
Yeah.
TV
And
about a
parking
month,
spot.
like
Yeah.
2 months ago, and there was a
Yeah.
2-passenger airplane crashed about a block away from my apartment.
Wow.
Tonight?
Dang.
No, like 2 months ago.
Did you even hear it?
Yeah,
No. There were so many other explosions going on. He didn't hear what was going
but I
on.
mean, my apartment's like right next to a freeway overpass.
yeah.
So like, you know, which is fine for me because I need ambient noise. Like I can't not have ambient noise.
Actually, that was the first place I really lived outside of the city. Was when I was up in when I was stationed at Woodby Island. Because I went straight from Phoenix to there, which is rural as fuck.
Whidbey is definitely not the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I live at just a few miles from fire station, and we have a fan in our bedroom. We get sirens and shit here too, but you turn up
Aaron-
that fan loud enough, you drowns out everything. I can't hear shit.
I love it, Russ. I do the same exact thing. I got a little tinnitus in my left ear. And I
Aaron,
like
one
to
sec.
hear the noise. What's up?
Eddie's asking for a link. I can't drop it in there if you can.
Oh, okay. We'll give him a few minutes, but yeah, we're going to end this pretty soon. Yeah, because I don't have to work tomorrow, but I do have to take a ride down the shore, and I got to sign for another lift. That's
Wait,
coming up on the
Aaron.
job.
Yeah,
You have to take a drive down south, down the shore.
Down the shore. Yeah.
You getting some Def Leppard t-shirts?
It's gonna be 2 hours.
Not
2 hour
gonna
drive.
need no fucking Def Leppard t-shirts, and I
Are
don't
you gonna
like
get?
donuts.
Are you gonna get a biscuit on the way there?
No biscuits.
No
they make you
biscuits?
burp.
See
I don't
Doors
need,
cover
I don't need
band?
to burp anymore than I already do.
Need to get a new Skid Row album.
You got
Yeah.
a problem with burping, Mr. Bizarro?
I have no problem at all with it. It's just not my thing. It's a forced thing with me. I don't want to have to force it. It's very natural with some other people.
Hey, Eddie.
There you go.
What's up, Eddie?
Hey, what's up,
Eddie?
guys?
What's up,
What's
Eddie?
happening?
Not much,
We
man.
got-
What's going on?
Not a lot. We got a few minutes here, and then we're going to shut it down because I do got to make a run down the shore tomorrow. So
I heard
I
that
just wanted
Mr.
to make
Bizarro
sure
has
he
to make
came
a
up
run
and-
down the shore.
Yeah. What?
So who's off tomorrow besides
Did your
you,
mustache
Aaron?
just say that, or was that you?
I'm off.
It was-
I'm off.
You're off too?
John.
I got to work at 10 a.m., so I don't
I'm
have to
off.
work
I've been off all week.
I'm gonna go eat all the free veteran food tomorrow. Get a
You
free
can tell the
haircut,
people
all
that have been off all week. Hey, what are you doing? We got plenty of time.
I got about 10 days I'm off.
No,
Damn.
I'm beat, but I am off tomorrow.
No,
Nice.
thanks for coming by, John. I hope you have a good time at the show, man. Take some pics and.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, I'll take some. I do
Is your
that
wife
now.
gonna wear a costume?
No.
That's
Who are you
already
gonna
that's
watch?
over,
That
man.
guy?
Are you gonna wear your costume, John?
No.
Who are
He
you going
already
to watch?
used all that
Who-
peanut
What
butter.
concert are
He's
you
not
going
gonna
to,
buy
John, on Saturday?
Saturday's the Bulldozer show. The Italian
oh,
metal
yeah,
band.
yeah, the
And
Italian
then
band.
Sunday is Merciful Fate Creator.
Dude,
Oh, that's gonna be a good one, man.
the last
Yeah.
time I saw Fate was when they played for Nine. When they were
You can
touring
shut
for
it off.
Nine back in like '99 or 2000,
I
somewhere around there.
never saw Merciful Fate ever. They were one of my favorite bands in the
It
80s.
was a killer
you know.
show.
Does he only?
I hate
do
what he's
Fate or
done.
does he
I
do
hate what he's
Diamond
done with
too?
his makeup now, though. His current makeup is terrible.
Yeah, well, you know, he was
King
sued by
Diamond?
Gene Simmons. He can't wear the original makeup because of Gene Simmons.
He
but a
got.
cease and
I think he got
desist.
sued, right? Didn't he get sued by?
Yeah,
Gene
sued or
Simmons now?
cease and desist. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably
Oh,
cease and
he's
desist.
serious.
But yeah, years ago, because he changed that makeup probably in like 88, 90, if I
Yeah.
remember.
I'm glad Gene didn't see our Halloween show. I think I would have got a cease and desist just for
Yeah.
having the little points
Yeah.
on my face.
That or mentioning orange juice.
Which is funny because Ace Frehley's first costume was a straight rip off of who was that band that they copied? Oh, it drives.
Was
I
it
can
Clowns
picture
at a Circus? That's what I thought they were.
No, there was a glam band. It's not the Sweet. What's the other band that's like the Sweet? Their guitar
Slade?
player wore the exact same outfit that Ace Frehley wore on his first couple.
Oh,
of
Slade, Dave Hill, you think?
Slade, thank you,
The,
yeah.
the outfit. He didn't wear the makeup, but
No, not the
outfit,
makeup, but the
yeah.
outfit
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
an exact copy. Yeah.
And that's that super yob there. That was his. That was Dave Hill's like guitar. That was his thing.
Yeah. That cracks me up.
Oh.
Surprised they didn't try to sue Alice Cooper for his makeup.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Gene invented makeup.
He invented.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
that.
he invented the, what was it?
I
The-
saw-
the-
Do you think Gene should just
Yeah.
sue anybody married
Spider
to
Man.
Gene?
I
Gene
saw
should
an
just-
interview with Ronnie James Dio. He's the fucking best. He's like, Yeah, you know, Genie invented shoes and breathing and air.
I love Ron. I love Ronnie James Dio.
He's gonna start suing anybody that's married to a penthouse.
They were the first band.
Then they said
Kiss were
Dio
the-
invented that, and then they showed pictures of Coven from like 1969 doing the same shit. You know,
Yeah, but Dio never claimed he invented that. He said
his wife did though.
Oh, maybe his wife did, but you see interviews with Dio said this was around. My grandmother did, but like
He
other
did
people
it.
did
Yeah,
it.
they,
I didn't.
what they call it, John?
Yeah, I remember him talking about
The Il
that.
Cornuto.
Yeah, like the
I think it's the
Maloika.
bull.
I think he said he called it or something.
It's the Il Cornuto. Il Cornuto.
It's like the evil
bull.
eye. Yeah,
It's to ward off the evil eye. It's a bull.
Oh, is that what it? Yeah.
It's bull horns.
Yeah.
Well, cuerno means horn, so cornudo.
Oh, the horns. Okay,
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
bull. Yeah, a burrow.
Yeah.
Would be,
Yeah.
The horns.
All right, guys. Hey, I want to stay and hang out, but I got to get up super early. I want to say goodbye to Shaun before he splits. I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight, John and Randy and Russ. It's good to see you. Come on back again, Russ, and hang out again in the future.
Yeah. Anybody else
appreciate
have
you coming
channels
out.
here? Who else has a channel here?
Everybody here has channels.
Oh,
Every
nice.
single
Okay.
person here has channels, and they're all active.
right.
Especially Steve. He's got a lot of subs, man. He's been around.
I have three
Steve's
videos.
been around for almost as long as I've been around.
What is the name of your channel?
It's my name.
It's just your name. Okay, so I will search it out.
I just
Sub
spoke
up Rush.
to you a little bit
Yeah.
earlier, Russ. So
Yeah. Well,
you
Yeah,
probably won't
Steve,
notice
thanks for
got
coming
like
by,
5,000
Steve.
subs.
Thanks a lot for coming by, Steve. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I'm sick of doing videos. I prefer this lately.
I
Yeah.
don't think I'll ever do like a new acquisition video ever again. I'm just kind of incorporated into my live streams now in the future. So,
There you go.
but
I
yeah,
just like
Eddie,
hanging out. You know.
thanks for coming by, Eddie. I loved your last stream, man. You played some really great shit. Eddie,
Thank you.
Physical Media, he's got a great channel. Check him out. And Eric, he used to have a killer mustache. Now he's got a super cool nose ring. So sub up his nose. He's going to have a second channel just for his nose ring.
It's true. It's true.
Hit
So
that
nobody
up
has
and,
more fans than me.
Yeah, and don't forget this Saturday coming up, John's going to be at a show. But we got Hydra 19 coming up this Saturday. And we got Mikey Bananas standing in, filling the giant shoes of John.
Nice.
So come on by Saturday around 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time and check out some really good music. My buddy Randy's going to be here, Dead Wax as usual. And again, thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out and supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. And we will see you this coming Saturday, so do not miss it.
See ya. Peace.
Take care, everybody.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Later.